SunTrust Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Pix 11 presents New York Mets baseball. Tonight, the Mets play the Atlanta Braves. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. Get a great deal more than a great deal on all new Hyundai vehicles. See your Hyundai dealer today. By Spectrum, TV the way you want it. More HD, more on demand. Get it now at spectrum.com. By Toyota, the Camry, Highlander, and RAV4 have something for everybody. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By McDonald's, savor every bite of a delicious garlic white cheddar signature crafted recipe sandwich. And by your tri-state Land Rover retailers, Land Rover, above and beyond. We told you about traffic jams in Atlanta last night, didn't we? Well, this is the traffic jam getting into the ballpark at SunTrust Park. Everything smiles for the Mets right now at 14-5. A lot of Met fans down here in Atlanta getting to meet their heroes, and the Mets happy to oblige. Oh, and by the way, did you ever hear that golf might help with your baseball swing? And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Atlanta. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play the third game of their four-game series against the Braves. In the first game of this series, Matt Harvey started for the Mets. On Monday, Jason Vargas will make a rehab start in Las Vegas. Those two things put together led to the decision today to move Matt Harvey to the bullpen, something Matt's not happy with, but he's going to go there and try his best.
Well, I think that he's got to keep reminding himself that the most important thing is that he's going down there for the 24 other guys. He's got to find a way to help this ball club. He hasn't been helping it as a starting pitcher. The good thing about it is Dave Ireland and Mickey Callaway have both worked with some really talented pitchers that lost their way, went to the bullpen, found it, and then got back in the rotation. Hopefully that helps for Matt.
And that's certainly what Matt hopes, is that he gets back into the starting rotation at some point. Meanwhile, Jacob deGrom has been the Mets' best starter so far this year. Deserved to win his last time out and didn't come to pass.
Yeah, left the game. The score was 6-1. That was the blow up by the bullpen game, but he struck out 12. That was really his signature start to start this year.
And the Braves will have their opening day started. Their ace Julio Teheran on the mound, finally figuring out how to win in his home ballpark.
Yeah, he's had a rough go of it, but his last 10 starts against the Mets, his ERA is under 2. He's one of the best in the league.
Beat the Phillies his last time out here at SunTrust Park. The Mets and Braves, third game of 4. Having some fun with Blooper. Yeah, that's Blooper. Braves have a new mascot, did we mention? All the action on Pix 11. Make life grand with the new Grand Money Scratch-Off game. Sunday, May 6th is the McDonald's Family Sunday at Citi Field. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a pair of Jerry Blevins baseball socks, courtesy of Gulf Oil. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/Family Sundays. Themes of the game brought to you by your Tri-State BMW centers.
Well, Peach Sombrero, Cespedes last night, game-winning RBI and 4 strikeouts. That doesn't happen too often. Jacob deGrom has had a little trouble pitching in this ballpark. Pitched better at Turner Field, and Julio Teheran this season allowed first-inning runs in all 4 of his starts.
The cow is ready. Are you? There's baseball to be played in Atlanta tonight. Big crowd gathering. Nice evening in Atlanta. First pitches coming right up. Sunday night against the Nationals, 12th inning, broken bat hit, game-winning run. He had struck out 3 times in that game. Against the Marlins, doubled down the line, game-winning run. He had struck out 3 times in that game. Last night, Pokes won the other way, 12th inning, game-winning hit. Struck out 4 times last night. Game-winning hit after 3 strikeouts. That ties a career Mets record, doing it 3 times ever, and he's done it 3 times in the first 19 games of the year.
Hit or miss with Cespedes.
He has been that. He's hitting just .208 for the year, but .400 with runners in scoring position, and he says he still feels lost at the plate, says maybe going back to playing some golf. The morning of the game might help him.
Said golf keeps his shoulder in. He feels like his shoulder is flying out. Whatever it takes for him to get back up to 300 is fine with me.
And Mickey Callaway said it's fine with him as long as he's reasonable about it. You know, pick a day when there's no batting practice, play golf on off days. Just, you know, try and be reasonable about mixing golf and baseball.
I just got a text from an exclusive club in Long Island. They say he can play there anytime.
I'll bet you he can. Limitless greens available to number 52. Starting lineup for the Mets brought to you by Infinity. And there is the lineup tonight. Jose Lobaton will do the catching. Tomas Nido had a really good night last night, but Lobaton's got great career numbers against Julio Teheran. That's why he's in there tonight. Jose Reyes gets just his 4th start of the year, trying to break out of his early season woes, giving Ahmed Rosario a night off.
What's your feeling about this ballpark so far, Gary?
Well,
Turner Field was growing on me.
I was not a big Turner Field fan.
Okay.
I like, though, that Turner Field was close to downtown. Here we're out in the suburbs, which I'm never a huge proponent of. I don't love the way they built it up on the windiest hill in Atlanta, and the wind tends to be a big factor, as Julio Teheran has found out in a year-plus pitching in this ballpark.
Well, we saw some of the balls last night really pick up some steam. One went over Bruce's head, of course, the double by Cabrera. But, boy, the people have come out. Last night, great crowd, and tonight, the same.
And a lot of Met fans down here as well to watch the entire weekend. They've got the new hotel right across the street, kind of like Skydome. You can get a hotel room and watch the game from the comfort of.
There was always a little trouble with that.
You have to make sure you draw the shades if you need to.
Well, Julio Teheran, despite having some troubles here the last couple of years, against the Mets, his last 10 starts, he's 4-2 with a 1.87. He has started against the Mets 19 times in his career. And the Braves defense is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota, let's go places, and not till tomorrow. Camargo gets to start at third base. Flaherty with that high average gets the night off. Carlos Perez starting for Suzuki behind the plate. He played with the Angels most recently. And of course the outfield still the same. And Preston Tucker has been pretty impressive as a hitter the first 2 nights.
Nick Markakis, 2 outfield assists last night. Now has 111 assists since 2006, the most in the majors over that span.
Wilmer's not playing. He might not get an assist tonight. No.
He might come off the bench. Markakis, we talked about his ability to go out there and play every day. Well, Teheran's the same. He's now made 30 starts or more, 5 straight years. First Brave to do that since Greg Maddux. He, even in his down year last year, was able to take the ball 32 times.
You know, he probably isn't in the level with the elite pitchers, but right below that is where Teheran fits.
Michael Conforto struggling right now. He's getting on base at least once a game, but he's 0 for 7 in this series. His season batting average down to .209 as he leads off tonight against Teheran. Teheran made 5 starts against the Mets last year, and as Ronnie mentioned, 19 in his career, and there are the Met fans grouped out in left field. First pitch of the night, Conforto hits it in the air to right center field. Inciarte trailing back, has room in front of the warning track, and he puts it away. 1 pitch and 1 out. Conforto retired, and we're underway in Atlanta.
Well, that's a good sign for the Braves and Teheran. So far in his 4 starts, leadoff hitters are batting .412 in any inning against Teheran with a .524 on base, so he retires Conforto.
And he's given up at least 1 run in the first inning of every start this year, so he's trying to turn that around. Here's Cespedes, who had the game-winning hit last night, his only hit in the series so far, and he takes the fastball off the plate for ball 1. Teheran now 27 years old, 59 big league wins. Loved pitching at Turner Field, had not loved pitching here much. But he did beat the Phillies 2-1, 6 solid innings, 9 strikeouts his last time out, and they're hoping that that gets things turned around for him. Last year, 3-10 in his first year in this new ballpark. 1-2 to Cespedes. Look at the contrast between the way he pitched at Turner, 3.02 ERA, 24-16, and then at home with that win his last time out, still that ERA
almost double,
under 6.
Yeah, almost double.
And the home run rate is especially staggering. Off the plate to Cespedes, 2-2.
We're going to keep our eye on the umpiring tonight. Jeremy Rehak is behind the plate. This is his first game behind the dish. Congratulations to Jeremy.
And Cespedes swings through the fastball, so all heat from Teheran, and he strikes out Cespedes for the 2nd out.
Well, really, the 4 strikeouts last night, that is where they've been attacking. Cespedes is up and away, and he's chasing that ball, which I think is off the plate. And that's at 89, 90 miles an hour. That isn't the 95 plus.
It's 35 strikeouts now for Cespedes in his first 78 at bats, which is a crazy high rate. Of course, the flip side is he's driven in 18 runs. Only 2 players in the league have driven in more. Asdrubal Cabrera, who has been red hot, takes a strike.
Yeah, Javi Baez came from nowhere, to jump in that lead with 20 RBI.
Drove in 4 last night. Of course, he had Coors Field to his benefit. Baez. Who's Hot brought to you by Geico. Asdrubal Cabrera has been hot from the get-go this year. 373 the last 13 games, 347 for the year. That's 3rd in the league, and he pushes a bunt to the vacated space, and he can walk to first base with a bunt hit. So with the shift on, he got it past the pitcher, and Cabrera with the Mets' first hit of the night, laying one down.
Well, Cabrera right now can do no wrong, even when he turns around to bunt. This is the perfect bunt against the shift. Hard enough to get past the pitcher, and at the right angle that the third baseman, of course, can't handle it. Just textbook.
So that gives the Mets a 2-out base runner for Jay Bruce, who finally got himself a hit last night, a fly ball double down the left field line. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but it snapped an 0 for 19 stretch. And now trying to parlay that into something more. And he takes that just out of the strike zone from Tehran, ball 1. Braves have been getting spectacular starting pitching. They were good last night with Sean Newcomb. Great the night before with Matt Whistler. Ground ball for Tehran to handle. And he makes the play on Bruce. And Tehran puts up a 0 in the first inning for the first time this year. Handles his position well. Jacob deGrom takes the mound for the Mets when we come back. Start of the series for Johan Camargo. In fact, his first start of the year. He just came off the DL. Carlos Perez gets the start behind the plate. Otherwise, the same unit for the Braves, who lead the National League in runs scored and in batting average.
Well, Jacob deGrom, his numbers 2-0 with a 3.24. His last 11 starts on the road, though, his numbers are great. 7-3 with a 2.85 ERA.
Ender Inciarte leads off for the Braves, 2 for 9 in this series. Frazier plays in on the grass against him at third, and Inciarte takes up and away from deGrom for ball 1. Jake pitched probably the most dominant game a Met pitcher has this year. His last time out against Washington. Gave up the broken bat home run to Bryce Harper in the first inning, and then was absolutely brilliant. Became the first Met starter to work into the 8th inning. Struck out 12, was in firm command, left with a 3-1 lead that promptly collapsed. Grounded down to first base. Adrian Gonzalez will take it himself to retire Inciarte one away.
Look at the Mets defense, brought to you by your Hyundai dealers. And you can see Lobaton getting catching. More importantly, third start at shortstop this season for Reyes as they try to get him going. And in the outfield, the same guys that have been playing almost every day, Conforto, Bruce, and Cespedes. It's a big start for Reyes to see if he can get his first hit.
Didn't pick the best odds against Tehran. Here's Ozzie Albies, who jumped a fastball in the first inning against Syndergaard last night and gets a first pitch fastball here, but fouls it off.
Just got it in enough. This one from Syndergaard last night, more middle, and the diminutive second baseman shows you how strong he is. Maybe pound for pound might be one of the strongest guys in the league.
6th home run of the year, and if you go back to 1900, which is 3 different cities for the Braves, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Boston, no middle infielder had ever had 6 home runs by the end of April Tolazi Albies. He's going to do a lot of things that nobody's done. He's only 21, the youngest player in the majors. And DeGrom strikes him out with a high fastball, and that's where Jake has been getting his swings and misses. That's his first strikeout of the night.
He has done a better job than anyone in the starting rotation. And once he gets ahead, not only elevating that fastball, but even more importantly, putting hitters away. That's why he's been able to keep that pitch count down in the last game against the Nationals.
Had 24 swings and misses in that game, the second most he's ever had in a big league game. There's Freddie Freeman, who took an 0 for 5 last night. And he takes a fastball at 97 for a strike. Jake had a real good fastball his last start, and he's come out with a good one tonight. And he throws that one right by Freeman. A couple of 97s, and it's 0-2.
You know, we gave you the graphic last night. No one hits 95 or higher velocity better than Freeman, but got hit in the wrist a couple days ago. Doesn't look the same.
Fouls off that fastball. He had 2 hits in the opening game of the series, but took the 0 for last night. Freddie and DeGrom have battled on pretty even terms. He's 7 for 28 with 2 home runs against him. And he goes upstairs. That's 4 straight at 97. We don't see that from DeGrom very often. So he is feeling good tonight. 69 degrees at game time. Much more favorable weather conditions than the Mets have been seeing. 1-2 coming. And another one upstairs, 2-2.
It's all fastballs to Freeman so far. You think he's going to mix in a wrinkle here soon.
Is that Keith's cat?
It's Haji. Of course it is.
Wow. Those are real fans. That's upper echelon. 2-2, and he struck him out with a slider. So DeGrom did go to the breaking ball after 5 straight fastballs. He's got a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. No score after 1. Their last 4. Todd Frazier leads off in the second inning, takes a strike from Tehran. Todd's 1 for 7 in this series. That was a home run on Monday night. And the breaking ball in for a strike, 0-2.
We were talking to Chip Carey, who does the games here for Fox Network, and was saying that Tehran, for the first time this year, is changing speeds on his breaking ball.
Carlos Perez working for the first time with Tehran. And the curveball lifted out to center field. Inciarte waiting for it. And that retires Frazier, 1 out.
You know, it's interesting to watch Carlos Perez working behind the plate. He caught all of his games before this year for the Los Angeles Angels, but he reminds me how the Atlanta catchers used to catch here in the heyday of Smoltz and Glavine and Maddox, where he sits so far off the dish trying to get a strike off the plate.
Back when Javi Lopez and Eddie Perez were doing the catching for the Braves. Here's Adrian Gonzalez, and he takes low and in for ball 1.
Watch the target by Perez. He wants it down and away, and Tehran left it down middle, and he's mad at himself. He knows he got the out, but you know, those are the kind of mistakes that sometimes you get away with, but you don't want to make too many of them.
Very rarely see a pitcher that visibly upset about a ball on which he gets a routine fly ball.
He's Mr. Execution. He loves to be perfect out there and make his pitches. That's why he's so good. So when pitchers say, I didn't make a mistake today, it's not true. You get a lot of, you know, there's a half a dozen mistakes you make in a game that sometimes are outs.
Sometimes you get away with mistakes. Changeup misses to Gonzalez, and he's behind 3-1. Adrian didn't start last night against the lefty. Had a couple of hits on Monday, including a home run. And on 3-1, he grounds one to the right side. And Freeman makes the play for the second out. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jose Lobaton. Lobaton starting his 6th game for the Mets. Tomas Nido had a nice night last night with the bat and with his throws. Lobaton, though, is 7 for 21 with 2 home runs against Tehran, which is the most hits he has against any pitcher. And so he's in there tonight. Nido will probably catch tomorrow. I thought it was only against the Mets that Lobaton had those kinds of numbers. And Tehran fires a fastball in for a strike, 1-1. And Lobaton lines one to center, and Inciarte in picks it off for the out. And Lobaton with another good at bat against Tehran, but Tehran has a 1-2-3 inning. No score in Atlanta. glove to use during the game. So you don't have to bring your own glove. You show up, you rent the glove, maybe you catch a foul ball, you bring the glove back after the game's over.
I love it. You know what they should do also? They should have a glove company that will make you a glove that has your name on it. People would buy that.
You know what you have to do to get that?
Be a pro.
Make it to the major league.
Exactly.
Nick Markakis leads off for the Braves in the bottom of the second against Jacob deGrom. Markakis 3 for 8 in this series, hitting at .289 for the year. deGrom got the side in order in the first with a couple of strikeouts. It'll be Markakis, Tucker, and Swanson. He'll catch a lot with that glove.
Mizuno Pro.
And Markakis takes a pitch high for ball 1. I never used to bring my glove to the game because I used to sit in the upper deck and Shea.
You were too far.
No chance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I did bring my glove, though. When interleague play began in 1997, the Mets played a series at Tiger Stadium, old Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
And at Tiger Stadium, the press box, the broadcast booth, was, I don't know, 100 feet, 50 feet. I don't know how far it was, but it was the closest of any broadcast booth. You felt as though you could converse with the batter and the catcher. You were that close, and you needed to bring a glove to protect yourself.
Just in case. You're in the line of duty. That's funny. I love the old Tiger Stadium.
3-0 to Markakis, and deGrom catches the corner, 3-1.
I only went to a couple games as a kid, so no, I didn't bring. And I was in the far right field stands at Fenway Park. But the third time I ever was in a big league stadium, I played in Yankee Stadium in an All-Star game. It was pretty cool.
Bet you brought your glove for that.
I did bring my glove. And in fact, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying, in batting practice, I could barely hit a ball to the infield. I was so excited and nervous, and I hit a home run in that game in the left center field. Yeah. It was shocking. Couldn't hit one out of the infield during BP.
Markakis gets jammed and fouls off the fastball. So you hit one to left center over the monster?
No, left. Sorry, Yankee Stadium. So I hit left center to like the bullpen. Yeah. So
that's a long way away.
I don't know how it happened.
That's quite a poke.
It was divine intervention or something. Aluminum bat help.
Hey, that's the equipment you were provided at the time.
Right.
And deGrom loses Markakis to a walk. First base runner of the night for the Braves. He comes leading off in the bottom of the second.
See deGrom asking the umpire, where was that pitch? Was it down? He's trying to gauge this new umpire strike zone himself.
Jake's had a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio so far this year. Jeremy Rehack, first time we've seen him behind the plate. Preston Tucker, the batter. Tucker 3 for 9 in this series at a 5 RBI game on Thursday night. And he takes the fastball for a strike, 0-1.
It was a strange reaction from Tucker, like he was surprised by the speed of that pitch from deGrom.
Yeah, dig in. And he swings through that fastball, and it's 0-2. I guess you can watch as many times as you want on video, but until you see it in person, you just don't know.
Well, he's got a whip of a body, tall and lean, and he has a whipping action with the way he throws. So it's nice and easy, and then boom, explodes at the end.
And it is the first time Tucker's ever seen deGrom in a regular season game. Makes contact and bloops it, and back goes Frazier to make a nice play. Ball hit directly over Todd's head. Looked like it might fall in, but he closed ground and made the play for the first out.
Boy, that was a nice play. I mean, a third baseman, when they get in their ready position, they're always moving forward. So when a ball is hit like that, they've got to reverse course and be able to flag it down like he's a wide receiver. That was quite a play.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Dansby Swanson starts the night 6th in the National League in batting at .342. 2 for 9 in this series. And the curveball catches the outside corner. 0-1. Grom making his 5th start of the year. By all rights should be 3-0. After leaving with a big lead his last time out in the 8th inning. But you know, that's been a fairly commonplace occurrence for Jake over the course of his big league career. And one pops out of the middle of Lobaton, but no advance. Monday's start against the Nationals was the 19th time in his career he's left a game in line for the win, but the bullpen gave up the lead. That's the most blown wins in the major leagues for any pitcher since 2014 when he started.
I'm sure. And his record is an outstanding 47-32, but imagine what it could be.
Right. Should easily be 25, 30 games over 500. Gets a hit on Swanson. 1-2.
Jake's born in the wrong time. If he was born 30 years ago, 40 years ago, he'd complete most of his games and he'd get the wins.
Well, I mean, the stat that stands out the most about DeGrom is 111 starts. 47 of the 111 he gave up no runs or 1 run. Now, you know, obviously not going as deep into games as guys did 30 years ago, but nonetheless, that's incredibly impressive. And he strikes out Swanson with a slider for the 2nd out. 3rd strikeout for Jake.
Well, I look at it this way. That was his last start. A couple of runs he left on, runners he left on base. Eventually scored, of course, in that inning. He does everything he's asked to do in today's game. And I don't doubt if he pitched 30, 40 years ago, his pitch limit would be about 125, 130.
Right. He'd have 10 complete games a year.
Yep.
There's Johan Camargo getting his first start of the season. He was on the DL when the year began with an oblique injury. He's pinch hit each of the last 3 games and now in the starting lineup. Had a good rookie year last year. Played in 82 games, hit .299.
Jacob just has the right demeanor for a pitcher. You know, you really don't know if he's winning by 2 runs or losing by 2 runs. He's just steady.
Markakis hops back to the bag. Behind on Camargo, 2-0. And now 3-0. So the 2nd time in the inning that he's fallen behind 3-0. He's a little perturbed with himself. Carlos Perez, the catcher, on deck. Jake came into the night having walked only 6 batters in 25 innings. 1 walk in this inning already. And now another as he walks Camargo on 4 pitches.
It's interesting. He's swinging his arm and looking around. It's almost like DeGrom feels like mechanically he's a little out of sorts right now.
Well, we've seen with him before. He'll lose his mechanics a little bit in terms of his stride.
Yeah, his stride and open up a little bit, but he usually self-corrects pretty quickly.
So now 2 out and 2 on, and the number 8 hitter Carlos Perez, who was picked up from the Angels right after opening day. So he has not had a lot of chance to work with this Braves staff. We mentioned he's mostly caught Mike Fultonevich early in the season. Tyler Flowers, who formed quite the catching duo with Kurt Suzuki last year. Flowers has been out and is going to start a rehab assignment on Monday. But for the moment, Perez serving as the backup to Suzuki. And he foul tips it, a ball and a strike. Perez played parts of 3 years with the Angels, lifetime .224 hitter. You can always tell when Jake is out of sorts. It slows down significantly.
It's almost like he's uncomfortable on the mound.
When things are going well, he'll work at a very rapid clip.
I know that when I was pitching and I would get at a point where I was similar to Jake, where you're not throwing the ball where you want to. The reason you take more time is because you're really trying to go over all those little steps that you need to do to get back into mechanical, where you want to be mechanically safe, sound.
He's ahead 1-2 on Perez. And he misses away with the fastball. Interesting, in that first inning he was throwing 96, 97. Here 93 to 95. So it's whatever is going on with him, it's affecting the way the ball's coming out of his hand. His 23rd pitch of the inning coming up. And Perez rolls one out to Reyes at short. Gets the forced play side retired. A couple of walks, but DeGrom strands two. Foul ball on the way.
Come on.
Oh, not this time. Next time, Slugger.
We did so much for you, now we're crying in our beer. Atlanta, hear me now, cause what I say is true. Someday someone will steal them from you. Oh, there's no more baseball in Milwaukee, in Milwaukee, in Milwaukee. There's no more baseball in Milwaukee. You Braves have scalped this time.
You know, the Braves spent only 13 years in Milwaukee. They moved from Boston in 1953. They moved here in 1966. They set attendance records. They won a World Series. And they moved.
Well, what's that
all about? But that brought baseball to the South. Jacob DeGrom slugs one out to left field. Preston Tucker moves over. And he's got it. One out of the third. Well, They won a title in Boston in 1914, won in Milwaukee in 1957, made the World Series again the next year in '58.
Yeah.
And they made the postseason 14 straight years here in Atlanta, but won just the one World Series in '95. Yeah. For kids, the folks in Brooklyn knew what you felt like.
That might be my good friend Ernie Johnson. I know he was born in Milwaukee. His dad was on that ball club in '57.
Jose Reyes getting his 4th start of the year, trying to snap out of this dreadful early season slump. And he lines one the other way for a base hit. And Reyes is on the board, his first hit of 2018. And the Mets' second hit of the night. He is pumped, and so are his teammates.
That's great.
This is what he tweeted today, and he did.
You know, Dexter Fowler started that because he was on such a stretch. Dexter will get a hit. Dexter will get a hit. Well, Reyes did it today, and it worked. Perfect.
So the Mets have a 1-out base runner, and here's Conforto fly to center his first time up.
Got to be very careful, Tehran. We've said this many times for you folks who watch a lot. He's got a balk move, so he has a lot of pickoffs. He will twitch that knee a little bit before he throws to first base, which deceives the runner.
And even with a guy who doesn't have a great move, I don't know what Reyes is as a base stealer at this point in his career. He's obviously not the guy who stole, 70 bases in a season.
There it is.
And a close play, but he got a hand back in.
That's the balk move. He will just, what runners concentrate on is the front knee. That's his left knee, okay? So once that buckles, that means he's supposed to go to the plate. He buckles it right before he throws, and that's why he gets so many pickoffs. And almost got Reyes there.
I don't think we've seen him get called for a balk.
No, I have not. I mean, I developed that same move myself because the St. Louis Cardinals were impossible because of all their speed. So you had to do something. And so I semi-cheated.
He's only had 2 balks in his career. Reyes runs. Conforto lays off. Perez is throwing a hop. Not in time. It gets away from Swanson, and Reyes has his first stolen base of the year.
Well, he might not run as much as he used to, but he's still the fastest guy the Mets have to steal bases.
His 513th career stolen base. He holds the Mets single season record. He stole 78 in 2007. He's the Mets all-time leading base stealer. He is the active base stealing leader. So he's in scoring position with 1 out. First time the Mets have gotten a runner to second base. And Conforto takes one on the corner. He didn't think so. 2-2. Michael Scott to center his first time up. Cespedes waiting next. This has the makings of one of those games where a run could be very, very important.
I agree. Both pitchers seem to be where they need to be, on top of their game.
2-2, and Conforto lays off the slider. Full count. Conforto's been very patient. He's drawn 12 walks. He only has 44 official at bats, so his on base percentage is hefty, but he has been getting under some balls, missing his pitch. Three and 2 with 1 out, and a pickoff try. Swanson gets the tag down too late.
Well, you don't see that very often. Swanson with the hard tag. He really slaps this on Reyes. Boom. You saw him with the open hand, his right open hand. That tells the pitcher that he's going to go and cover second for the pickoff.
Well, he's so close to the bag where he's playing in the shift. And Conforto just got a piece of that fastball to stay alive. I mentioned that the Braves have been getting great starting pitching lately. Their last 14 games, their starter's ERA is 2.14. Ron pitched to Jem his last time out. The guy the Mets will see tomorrow, Mike Fultonevich, has been pitching the best of his career. One of the reasons the Braves were off to such a good start at 11-8. Again, the pickoff try, and again Reyes gets the hand back.
Well, Tehran to me controls the running game, even though Reyes has stolen a base as good as any pitcher in baseball.
He's given up 4 stolen bases so far this year without one being caught. Reyes with that Georgia mud all over his uniform now. And Conforto whacks one through the shift. That's a base hit. Reyes got a slow start. He'll go to third and stop there. And Conforto's aboard. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 1 out. Reyes froze because that ball looked like a line drive, but it found the space between Albies and Swanson into the outfield.
Well, I think you freeze because you've been playing your entire life knowing that that ball is right at the second base position. But even though since they're in the shift, it ends up going into right field for a base hit. But he did the right thing.
It's not often that Reyes in his career has not scored from second on a base hit to right.
But it's hard to teach yourself to not freeze in that shift, because that ball is exactly where you grew up as a kid knowing that's right at the second baseman.
So here is Cespedes with first and third and 1 out. Struck out his first time up tonight. And the breaking ball fouled off. 0-1. Cespedes has been extremely effective with runners in scoring position and not at all in other spots. So this would be his spot. 18 RBIs. That ties him for third in the National League. 18 RBIs with only 16 hits. He fouls off the fastball, and Tehran's ahead 0-2.
And one of the reasons he's striking out so much is that it seems like almost every at bat he's 0-2, doesn't it?
And thus the strikeouts continue to pile up. 4 of them last night before his game-winning hit. Tehran has struck out only 1 tonight, looking for 1 here. Cespedes fouls it off. That'll go out of play. Only once before last night had a Met ever had 4 strikeouts in a game and then produced a game-winning RBI. 1986 against the Astros at Shea. Ray Knight struck out 4 times, hit a home run in the bottom of the 10th off Frank DiPino to win the game. And then Cespedes had the game when he had last night in the 12th after 4 strikeouts. Breaking ball struck him out. So Tehran fans Cespedes for the second time, and there are 2 away.
Well, this is a good pitch. Good slider, exactly where he wanted it. He had pitched him up in the at bat and finishes him off with a slider out of the strike zone.
So now 2 out. Runners still at first and third for Cabrera, who had a bunt single his first time up. Camargo's playing a little closer to him this time.
Camargo closer. Conforto, I like it. A small lead. Let Cabrera hit. Don't get picked off first.
Cabrera's hit was his 27th of the year, which puts him in the lead in the National League in base hits. And Tehran pours one over for a strike. Mets as a team are not hitting much. They have a .239 team batting average. But Cabrera has been raking right from the start. Now has his batting average up over .350. Oh, 1 to Asdrubal. And he chases one out of the strike zone. It's 0-2.
See Tehran in a big circumstance here adds a little bit to that fastball. Been sitting around 89, 90. This one 91 with some movement.
Well, he took care of Cespedes. Now he's 0-2 on Cabrera as Reyes walks down the line at third, and time is asked for by the catcher Perez. You got the third baseman Camargo playing way off the line, and Reyes walked about 40 feet down the line trying to catch Tehran's attention and maybe get him to balk. And he'll do it again. Saw this work for Jose once in Philadelphia as Tehran steps off and tries to chase him back, but there's nobody to cover him. He pulled it off against Brett Myers of the Phillies and induced a balk that scored a run. There goes Conforto. It's hit in the air deep down the right field line, but foul. So Conforto was on the move on 0-2, maybe thinking about trying to steal a run that way.
I like it because your thinking is he's spending so much time occupied with Reyes at third base, he can get a good jump.
Well, I mean, he's halfway down the line anyway. If they ever threw, Reyes could walk home. Margot playing a little closer to third base now, so he's definitely gotten their attention with his strolls down the line. Oh, 0-2 to Cabrera. And he fouls off the fastball to stay in there.
You know, really the problem for the pitcher when you have this kind of shift on is that from your peripheral vision, I mean, Reyes is right smack dab in the middle of it, you know, and you're trying to concentrate on the hitter.
And it's probably harder for a left-hander, but still get annoying, I would imagine. There goes Conforto, and it's fouled away. So for the second time, Conforto was on the move. So if nothing else, the Mets have made Tehran work a little bit here in the third inning. Reyes with a base hit, stole second, took third on Conforto's hit. Cespedes struck out, and Cabrera hanging tough at 0-2. And he's got a piece of it, did he? He apparently did not. Strike three. So Cabrera is struck out. Tehran with back-to-back strikeouts of Cespedes and Cabrera, and he gets himself through the jam. Thought it might have been foul tipped, but apparently not. Julio Tehran leads off for the Braves in the bottom of the third against Jacob deGrom. Bluffing in a bunt, and he takes a strike. Tehran 0 for 5 this year, lifetime 147 hitter. deGrom walked a couple in the second inning, but got through it. He struck out 3 over the first 2 innings. Seemed to lose his way mechanically in that second inning. See how he fares here in the third after a 23-pitch second. Well, look who's in the bullpen. That's Matt Harvey behind Jerry Blevins. And it's awkward, but that's his place now. Strike three call. Tehran caught looking. He threw a bullpen session today. Won't be available to work out of the pen until Tuesday, but no matter what, it's going to be strange to see Matt Harvey working in relief. For more, let's check in with Steve Gelb.
And Gary, the Mets have really framed this move as a way to help Matt Harvey get back on track eventually as a starter. And the reason I think that's possible is because both Mickey Callaway and Dave Island have had experience with starters who have lost their way, gone to the bullpen, come back to be successful starters. And I was speaking with Dave Island specifically about his case with Danny Duffy in 2015 and 2016. And really what Island was saying is that it's much more about the mental side than the physical side. As a starter, you're trying to hold things back, worrying about the long term, the 6 innings, 7 innings. But as a bullpen piece, as a reliever, they want these guys, they will want Harvey to focus on unloading everything and attacking and winning one particular inning. And if that happens, if you gain that mentality, then you try and take that into your starts when eventually they hope he comes back into the rotation.
Inciarte chops one. DeGrom off the mound. Fair ball, and a nice play by DeGrom to get Inciarte. Not an easy play at all. The home plate umpire, Jeremy Rehak, ruled it a fair ball. And DeGrom falling into foul territory, threw it right on target.
That play is so good on so many levels. If you're a lesser pitcher, you would let that ball go foul. But because he's such a great athlete, not only does he field it, he gets himself into foul territory. Gonzalez moves over with him into foul territory and gives him that target, and that makes that play easier. I mean, that play they made look easy. That's hard play.
2 out and nobody on. Ozzie Albies lifts one on the left side. Reyes going out. Cespedes coming in, and Cespedes takes charge of it. Side retired. We'll talk more about Matt Harvey and his move to the bullpen when we come back. DeGrom gets back on track. No score after 3. I mean, what better than to have a selfie with Haji in it?
The reason we're showing it, folks, for the second time is Keith wants to see Haji's photo that someone brought to the game.
You mean he missed the first time?
He was driving to his favorite sushi place. Now he's, sushi and sake, and he just saw Haji.
Oh my. Jay Bruce leads off in the 4th inning against Julio Tehran and takes the breaking ball down for ball 1. And Bruce faking at what Cabrera pulled off successfully in the 1st inning with the shift on.
It was interesting. Tehran looked at Bruce like, what are you doing? And Bruce is like, if you're going to shift on me, I'll get a knock. That's what I'm doing.
Can't get upset about that.
Right.
Got to take what the defense gives you. Chases fastball away, and it's 1-1. Anyway, we were talking about Matt Harvey and his move to the bullpen, and I know you have some perspective on this, Ronnie, since it happened to you at one point in your career.
Well, in my Mets career, I made 200+ starts in a row, and then was told, just like Matt was told, and I was underperforming, that I was going to the bullpen. And I would like to say that I handled it well, but I don't want to have revisionist history. I was angry and didn't understand it, and I felt the same way that Matt probably feels, as he said yesterday, that I'm a starting pitcher, and I will always be a starting pitcher. That being said, what Steve was saying was interesting, and I think almost in a way counterintuitive. When you go in the bullpen, you're being brought in for an inning of work, and he's going to come in throwing 95+, and with his slider maybe become a 2-pitch pitcher. But that's exactly what they don't need from him.
Right, the opposite of what they were asking from him.
They need him to evolve into a different kind of pitcher who has the ability to use all of his pitches. So I'm going to find it interesting to see if he can find it in the bullpen, even though Island and Callaway have had history of success with guys going to the bullpen.
Good changeup by Tehran to strike out Bruce. That's his 3rd strikeout in a row and his 4th of the night. 1 out in the 4th.
Good breaking ball, backdoor by Tehran. I just think that what you have to do if you're Matt is that there's 24 other guys on the ball club, and it's okay, you feel like you've been banished to the bullpen, but at some point, how do I help the team? I'm not helping the team now, or the coaching staff doesn't believe. So how do I help the team? I have to do the best I can out in the bullpen.
Well, how about the mechanical part of it? Here's a guy who's used to getting ready for starts, and you do that on a 5-day basis with your bullpen in between and the way you warm up before a game, and now you have to be on call any given day. How do you prepare for that?
I think that I found that to be the most impossible, because what happens is most starting pitchers go down to the bullpen, and as soon as they tell you to get up, you get loose so quickly and you're ready to go, and then we don't need you. And you don't know how to pace yourself. I think that was one of the great things when LaTroy Hawkins was here for Jerry Reese Familia. He taught him how to pace himself. Hey, listen, you're not have to be ready until the hitter you're supposed to face, and then you still have 8 more pitches when you get out there. But I know when I was put in the bullpen, I would literally throw as hard as I could. Like in 5 pitches, I'd be ready to go. And I remember it was almost like having a rebirth, because I was throwing the ball probably 3-4 miles an hour quicker than I was before, because your stuff plays up when you go in the bullpen. But I wasn't any more effective in the bullpen than I was in the starting rotation.
Grounded into the shift. Swanson grabs it and throws out Frazier for the 2nd out. Well, Mickey Callaway was asked, are you going to find a low leverage spot for Matt the first few times? He said, we might try, but you know what? If we need him to win a game, he'll be in a game-winning situation.
That's right. I mean, last night's game would have been an interesting game because it was 12 innings. At some point, there were some relievers who probably weren't available last night, so he would have probably been the next guy after Gazelman if he had been in the bullpen.
2 out and nobody on. Now Adrian Gonzalez, who grounded out his first time up. Parenthetically, the Mets made another bullpen move today. They called up Corey Oswalt and sent Gerson Bautista down just to get a fresh arm here, with having played a 12-inning game last night and gotten 6 out of the bullpen.
Gary, did Bautista go back to Double-A?
Double-A.
Okay.
Binghamton, yeah. Oswalt, of course, was here for a couple of days last week when the Mets were in Miami, but never got in a game, and now he is very much available tonight.
I thought Bautista handled himself awfully well, considering how green he is. He did a nice job.
Tonight's high-speed pitch comes from Kia. Kia is bringing meaning back to value. There's value in 97.
Yes, there is.
One-two coming, and Gonzalez drills one out to left. Tucker steadies and picks it off to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Tehran in the 4th. Still no score in Atlanta. the office or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Nice rendering of the pitching motion of the great knuckleballer Phil Niekro.
You know, we played at the same time. You know, he was in the fall of his career, but I don't remember ever facing Knucksy, because you would remember, right, when you'd face a knuckleball pitcher. I don't remember facing him. Faced his brother Joe, but his brother Joe was more conventional, fastball, slider, conventional, sorry, occasional knuckleball.
Pitcher who threw a knuckleball as opposed to a knuckleball pitcher.
Yes.
Freddie Freeman struck out his first time up. Jacob deGrom, 3 hitless innings under his belt, and he beats Freeman upstairs with a fastball again, as he did in his first at bat. And it's 0-2. Nick Markakis on deck, then Preston Tucker in the home fourth. Nice pitchers duel developing between deGrom and Tehran.
So what happens there if you're a pitcher, right? So you've thrown 2 balls, fastballs by him. The third one he pulls foul, or he pulls it. So the bat speed is letting you know he's trying to catch up to that fastball, so you counter with a wrinkle. Slider, curveball, changeup.
Well, this is what deGrom has done. He has gone from a guy who pitched down in the zone to a guy who pitches in the top of the zone, and he's been incredibly effective making that transition. Upper third of the zone, 2/3 of the time. On the inside corner, got him looking. Freeman punched out. Second time deGrom has struck out Freeman in his 5th of the night.
That's that inside changeup. So what he'll do is he'll throw it at the hip of Freeman, and it'll kind of have a little delay on it and come back over the middle of the plate.
It's like a two-seam fastball, but with less pace.
Well, it's the same speed as Bartolo Colon's fastball that he would throw at 87, 88. He's throwing it, though, as a changeup.
Right. I think Bart goes tonight, doesn't he?
Yes, he
Coming off
does.
his perfect game bid on Sunday night.
It's his first start in Texas.
Nick Markakis walked his first time up, and he gets jammed and fouls it off. That's the second time that deGrom has gotten in on the hands of Markakis, who had a really good at bat his first time up to work out the walk. One of 2 walks deGrom issued in the second. He was able to get through that, and now he's retired 5 in a row. And again, Lobaton sets up inside, and Markakis flies one out to center field. Easy for Conforto. 2 out. Do you think Jake is working inside more now under Dave Island's tutelage than he did in the past, or do you think it's about the same?
I think it's about the same. The difference for me is that he's working more up and in, especially to the left-handed hitters. That's the big change.
I think the up part started developing last year.
It did,
didn't it?
Well, I think it got into trouble, to tell you the truth. Remember, we went through those, what, 3 or 4 starts where he really struggled, and I think that's when he was trying to make the transition.
Tucker flies one out to right. Bruce has room, and that retires the side. deGrom is now set down 7 in a row. No score after 4 in Atlanta. Things that Ronnie and I have ever seen. The contestant gets the head start, and then here comes the freeze.
He's a big fella, this guy running, so.
All right, Braves country. Earlier this week, the freeze
I mean, look at that stride.
He doesn't want to get beat 2 in a row. This is going to come down towards the end. And in the last stretch, the freeze gets to the finish line first. Congratulations.
The freeze has become so popular here in Atlanta that probably the most exciting thing that's happened to us in 3 days here is that a young writer for ESPN, the magazine, came and interviewed us about the freeze.
That's right.
Because we had a small hand in making the freeze a viral sensation last year.
It's the best thing that I've seen at a ballpark in quite some time. And you and I happened on it, like we were just doing our notes in between innings, and I was like, what is that out there? Because when you see someone running like the freeze runs, and then we did, I think Steve did a whole thing on him, right? Who he is, where he's from.
Well, last night, the freeze ran against a guy who was almost as fast as he is.
He really was fast.
And with the head start, the freeze had no chance. But I think you made a good point about tonight's contestant. Big guy like that, he might be able to get a good head of steam going for the first half of the race, but then, you know, maintaining that is the problem. I talked to Paul Bird, who does some TV for the Braves, former Mets pitcher.
That's right.
Who actually ran against the freeze.
He did.
Yeah. He decided to be that guy. Remember, like Chris Cotter.
Oh yeah,
dressed up as a Milwaukee sausage.
Milwaukee sausage. I was thinking of Chris Carter the other day because I was saying hi to Sal Fasano, who is the bullpen catcher here, who had Sal's pals in Philadelphia, a rowdy bunch at the top of the stadium at Citizens Bank Park, and our man Cotter would not go up there to speak to him. He was afraid.
Lobatone works out a walk, and the Mets have a leadoff base runner. Anyway, Paul Bird ran against the freeze, and he said, I did fine for the first, you know, couple of hundred strides.
Yeah.
He said, then my hamstrings gave out, and the freeze whacked me.
Well, after last night, maybe because he's not available today, I'd like to see Gesellman against the freeze.
Ooh. Well, he said he's the fastest pitcher on the staff, and that raised somebody's hackles.
I know, Noah.
Yeah, Noah did not like that designation at all. I'm not sure Gesellman can beat DeGrom in a race. I think that would be a pretty good race.
Yes, it would.
I'm not sure where Noah fits on that spectrum.
Again, another big fella.
Line the other way, and DeGrom just foul. Third base umpire Dan Iasonia makes the call, and DeGrom missed an extra base hit by that much.
Boy, good call by Iasonia. 6 inches, maybe foul.
That's upcoming schedule brought to you by purplebricks.com. I don't know. We're back on picks again tomorrow, 1:30 start in Atlanta. Then it's on to St. Louis for 3 and San Diego for 3 before the Mets get home. A week from Tuesday to take on the Braves. By the way, have you noticed our schedule for trips to Atlanta this year?
I did.
It's very condensed. We're back here on Memorial Day for 3 games, and then come back 2 weeks later in the middle of June for 2 games, and then we're done.
Done for the year, right?
Last trip to Atlanta in the middle of June.
Next time I come here, they just built a new hotel here. I am going to stay at that hotel because I cannot sit in the cab for 45 minutes to an hour every day.
It takes that long to get anywhere in this town.
Brutal. So I'll be there.
DeGrom bluffing a bunt. It's been a theme tonight for the Mets. Cabrera laid one down. Bruce faked one, and that time DeGrom thinking about trying to bunt for a hit.
Don't try to call me, folks. I go under an alias, so just in case.
Might have to wear a mask. 2-2, and DeGrom goes down swinging on the fastball. And that's 5 strikeouts for Tehran, his first out in the 5th.
That's a great thing about watching different pitchers who are excellent pitch, right? We have as different a style as you'll ever see between DeGrom and his power, and Tehran with his execution. Both equally effective.
So here's Reyes, who picked up his first hit of the season in the third inning, a liner to left center, then stole a base, his first of the year. So Reyes off the schneid. He will not catch Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith has the Mets club record for the longest offer for a position player from the start of a season.
Okay.
Charlie started the 1964 season 0 for 26. Now, Charlie Smith was a pretty good player. He went on that year to hit 20 home runs for the 64 Mets. 2 winters later, the Mets traded him to the Cardinals for Ken Boyer.
Oh.
And then 2 years after that, the Cardinals traded him to the Yankees for Roger Maris. And of course, Maris would become a huge contributor to the Cardinals' World Series title in '67.
'67, right.
I think he hit like 380 in the World Series that year against the Red Sox. 2-1 to Reyes with Lobaton at first and 1 out.
This is entering today. Tehran's numbers. Those will all come down as he gets into this season.
Grounded down to first, a foul ball. Well, his biggest problem so far this year has been the walks and the home runs.
Yeah.
13 walks in 20 innings coming in. He just issued his first walk in this game.
31 homers, career high last year he gave up. But he's an interesting case study because his numbers go down. First time through the lineup, they bat 290 off him. Second time, 259. Third time through the lineup, 222. So yes, it can happen.
Breaks the computer.
There you go.
The model is struck. 2-2 to Reyes, and he rips one into right field at base hit. Reyes is 2 for 2. Lobaton pulls in at second. So the baseball obituary of Jose Reyes for the second straight year may have been premature. I mean, last year he was 6 for 63 in April, and that was with more regular playing time.
I mean, that ball hit right on the nose. He said he was lost. Well, he's found now.
Well, I remember, you know, what a contributor he was for the second half of the year last year. It may have been a lost season for the Mets, but it wasn't a lost year for Reyes. So now first and second and 1 out for Conforto, who had a base hit his last time up. And he takes a changeup for a strike.
I called it a ball. I think Tehran wanted it to be a strike.
Looked like a strike.
Yep.
But again, you have a rookie home plate umpire, Jeremy Rehat.
Shifts on, but he's done a nice job so far, Mr. Rehat, behind the plate.
Lobaton at second, Reyes at first with 1 out. That's trying to break through here in the 5th. And it's in tight to Conforto, 2-0.
You know, you get frustrated as a pitcher when you throw pitches you think are strikes, but even more frustrated when you know you're locked in a duel with DeGrom. Like, you just cannot give up a run.
Saw from that graphic how effective he's been on a consistent basis against the Mets. Lifetime 2.58 ERA against the Mets over 19 starts and 1 relief appearance. 2-0 to Conforto, and that gets the corner. 2-1. Cespedes on deck. Julio Tehran, a 2-time All-Star. And that's away, 3-1. So Tehran painting himself into a bit of a corner here.
So he's thrown 4 pitches. He thought all of them have been strikes, but he's behind in the count 3-1. It'd be interesting to see. I would think even with Cespedes struggling, you have to challenge Conforto here. Three
3-1 coming. And Conforto hits one back to Tehran. Out at second. Swanson to first. 1-6-3 double play. And just like that, Tehran finds his way out of trouble. Halfway through, no score in Atlanta. The Rockies at 7:10. The first 25,000 fans in attendance will receive a UNS Cespedes Garden Gnome, courtesy of New Balance. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mets and Braves no score. Braves looking for their first hit against Jacob deGrom, who has struck out 5 over the first 4 innings and walked 2. Dansby Swanson leads off and nubs 1 foul. Swanson, Camargo, and Perez 6, 7, and 8 in the Atlanta batting order in the 5th. deGrom's retired 7 in a row after a couple of walks in the 2nd. And Swanson takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-2.
The art of pitching. So slider away off the end of the bat. Comes in the inside corner, paints him for a strike. All 4 quadrants are open for deGrom against Swanson right now, despite his high average.
On the outside corner, got him looking. Number 6 for deGrom, 1 out in the 5th.
So this is the first pitch that the young umpire has called that's been off the plate. Just slightly, a couple of inches. That's the kind of control that deGrom has, but it splits the body of Lobaton, and sometimes that can fool the catcher.
Hey, you talk about framing.
Yep.
That was great framing.
He caught it against his chest, so he gave it a little more time to come back over the plate.
1 out and nobody on. Here's Camargo. Walked on 4 pitches his first time up, and takes a changeup for a strike. Camargo looking for his first hit of the year, making his first start of the season after a stint on the DL. It's going to be interesting to see how the Braves' third base situation pans out. I mean, Ryan Flaherty's off to a ridiculous start, which there's no precedent for in his career. Camargo had a really good half a season last year. They signed Jose Bautista with the idea that maybe he can play some third base. He's on a minor league deal now.
I was just thinking, we always talk about, boy, we're expecting this guy to do what he's always done on the back of his baseball card. Well, do you feel the same way with a guy like Flaherty?
I think sometimes you have to look at it that way until a guy convinces you that he's made some kind of a breakthrough. The irony of that, of course, is as Camargo goes down swinging for the 2nd out, the irony is that the guy that they just signed had that kind of mid-career uptick.
That's right.
Bautista was, you know, an average major league player, and then he became a superstar.
Yeah. Well, he learned to do something that he'd never done before. He'd always been coached to hit the ball the other way, to be that kind of guy who hits for a higher average. And then he started saying, I'm not doing anything but pulling the ball. And then one year he hit over 50 home runs. He only hit one to right field. That was the last one.
54 out of nowhere, right? He'd hit, what, 15 the year before that?
Yep.
Carlos Perez grounded into a force play with 2 on to end the second. Since then, DeGrom's retired 9 in a row. And this is away with the slider, 1-1.
You see Lobaton with a shake of the head. He gave the target off the plate. So he wanted that ball off the plate. And that's what DeGrom threw it. He shook his head. That's good. Now we're going to set him up for a pitch, maybe inside. So Lobaton is trying to think ahead 2 pitches. There you go. So off the plate away with the slider, back in with the strike for fastball, but doesn't get the call.
Now is part of that reading the hitter as he takes that slider outside, or does that not play into it?
I think it's Lobaton knowing Perez, knowing what kind of hitter he is.
And he lays off that curveball, and now it's 3-1. You got the pitcher Tehran on deck. DeGrom would love to have him leading off the next inning.
Only 10 home runs and over 500 bats for Perez, so challenge him, something down and away.
Out of town scores brought to you by Optimum. Aaron Nola, another strong performance. Rhys Hoskins, another home run and 4 RBIs, and the Phillies win. They've been rolling. That's 10 of their last 12. Yadier Molina's home run in the bottom of the 7th lifted the Cardinals over the Reds. Jordan Hicks 2 1/3 hitless innings for the win. Hicks is turning into one of the great relief weapons in baseball.
Great stories from A-ball to the big leagues. Yadier Molina had to go to the front office and say, we have to take this kid, and all he does is throw 100.
Well, the Mets will see the Cardinals starting on Tuesday night. Hicks was very impressive in that first series at Citi Field. Sure, we'll see plenty of him coming up. 3-2 on the way, and Perez fouls it off.
One of the notes there we saw was a guy that not a lot of people know about, Mike Clevenger, for the Cleveland Indians. Now in his last 11 starts, he's 8-0. So embarrassment of riches there in Cleveland with Kluber and Bauer and Carrasco and now Clevenger.
Complete game 2 hitter in their win over the Orioles today. Baltimore now 6-15. 8th pitch of the at bat to Perez, and he lines one the other way, and he's got the first Atlanta hit. So the number 8 hitter, the light hitting catcher Carlos Perez, after DeGrom had gone through 4 2/3 without allowing a hit, spoils that.
Well, challenge him with fastballs 4 in a row, and he slashes this one to right field.
So now Tehran, who was struck out looking his first time up. Only the third base runner tonight for Atlanta, after DeGrom had retired 9 in a row. And it's popped up. Cabrera waiting for it. That retires Tehran, and that takes care of the 5th inning. DeGrom and Tehran in quite the pitcher's duel. We head to the 6th with no score. managerial career off to a spectacular start at 14-5. This was his quote during spring training. We're going to create a culture that wins, putting methods, routines, and processes in place to create a culture that will sustain winning for a long time, and that's the goal.
Yeah, process, right?
But you know what a big part of that is? And we've seen it on several occasions already this year. Accountability.
Yeah.
Right? Meritocracy. The best players play. If you're not the best player, sorry, your feelings may be hurt, but that's the way it goes.
Who gives us the best chance to win? That should be answered every single night when you make out the lineup and put a pitcher out there. Always.
Sixth inning in a scoreless game. Mets have 4 hits against Tehran. The Braves have 1 hit against DeGrom. Cespedes has struck out twice tonight, and he takes a first pitch slider for a strike. Cespedes has now struck out 6 of his last 7 at bats. The one he didn't and put it in play. He won the game last night. Flies this one along the right field line. A long run over for Markakis right to the line. It lands a foul ball. Just foul. Another not well hit ball by Cespedes that almost resulted in something good.
Well, it's impossible for Markakis to cover that kind of ground. He's trying to take away the right center field gap. So, you know, he had a good, what, 70-yard run he had to go there.
What's the catch probability?
No.
0, I believe.
Yes.
Tehran waiting for his right fielder to get back in his spot. So Cespedes once again finds himself in an 0-2 hole. He's able to lay off the pitch up out of the strike zone 1 and 2. As Drupal Cabrera on deck, then Jay Bruce as Tehran works his 3rd time around the Mets batting order. And Cespedes goes down on strikes yet again. 37 strikeouts in his first 80 at bats of the season.
Wow.
Get that man a bag and some clubs.
St. Louis Country Club, 8:30 a.m. tee time.
Got an off day Monday. Now, you told me, and I'm not a golfer, that Monday is not necessarily the best day to hit the links.
Well, the elite courses, Gary, the ones that you have to pay some serious donuts to belong to, are always closed on Monday. But the you know, the courses that are public are always open.
Swanson throws out Cabrera for the second. Now, well, that does not jibe well with the baseball schedule because baseball players are most available to golf either on Monday or Thursday.
And I don't see Yoenis as a real public golfer. He's more of the private golfer.
Well, as you at the hotel here next to the ballpark, you might have to wear a disguise.
That's right.
2 out and nobody on that. Jay Bruce, who continues to struggle. A comebacker and a strikeout tonight. 1 for his last 24. Mets, as a rule, have not been generating much offense against starting pitchers. They have done a lot of damages against bullpens. Each of the last 5 games, the starting pitcher against them that night has given up 2 runs or fewer. 2 earned runs or fewer. 1 and 2 to Bruce. And really, that's where the Mets have been winning games. Their bullpen has been better than their opponent's bullpen. Last night, Mets bullpen turned in 6 scoreless innings, only 1 hit. And to boot, a reliever scored the winning run.
I know, 6 scoreless. I mean, can't expect that every night, but they've been getting it.
1-2. And Bruce socks one toward left center field. Cutting over in the gap is Tucker to make the catch. And that retires the side. Tehran gets the Mets 1-2-3 in the 6th, a 9-pitch inning. DeGrom back to the mound in a scoreless game. this. Here's his swing on the last one.
You know, the ball away and up has given him a problem because he's swinging underneath it each and every time. He has never missed one of these pitches by swinging over the top of it. It is always underneath it, and quite frankly, a little late too on the fastball.
Ender Inciarte leads off the home sixth and slashes one foul into the screen. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve.
And guys, you saw right there too, his front side is really flying open a lot. That's one thing the coaching staff has noticed. They're trying to get him to keep that front side in. And that's what Yoenis Cespedes, by the way, was talking about when he was speaking about golf. He thinks that allows him to keep his front side in, his hands in, like he does when he's playing.
Charged by Cabrera, can't make the play, and Inciarte is safe at first. Just a slow roller. Inciarte with excellent speed. Cabrera tried to rush. They'll score that an infield hit.
Well, once it got past DeGrom, it was going to be hard. That's a very interesting way that Cabrera fielded that on the backhand. Most of the time you see infielders come with two hands and try to flip it all in one motion, but he had the backhand. That's why he lost the play.
So just the second hit of the night for the Braves, and Ozzie Albies will step in. Albies has struck out and flied to left, 0 for 2. And DeGrom, like all the Met pitchers, trying to be as diligent as they can and try to stop the running game.
Yeah, give Lobaton a chance here because Inciarte is going to try to steal second. 6
steals for Inciarte this year, tied for second in the National League. He's got 1 in this series. He's going. Lobaton can't get it out of his mitt cleanly. And Inciarte has a stolen base, his 7th of the year and his 2nd in this series.
That was almost a communication between pitcher and catcher called fastball away, where you execute almost a pitch out on your own. And that was a perfect pitch for Lobaton to throw. Just lost control of it.
So in a scoreless game, a runner in scoring position with nobody out, and now Albies trying to move him along. There he goes, stealing third. Lobaton's throw. He's safe. And Frazier got spiked.
Yeah.
You see the spike mark in his left pant leg.
Right in the shin. It was a late slide from Inciarte. I thought he was going to be out there for a second with a good throw, but one hopped.
And the Mets are going to challenge the call. He tagged him on the leg. Wow. Did he come off the bag? He might have been.
He might have been off the bag.
Might have been off the bag with the tag still applied. Frazier hanging in despite getting spiked and keeping that tag on him.
Right there.
And I think he might have been off.
Wow, what a big turn of events this could be.
That would be an enormous call if the Mets can have it go in their favor.
Watch the tag on the belt buckle there. Is he off there? To me, he looks off, but
it's hard to tell because you don't have the side angle, but there doesn't appear to be any part of his body touching the bag at that point. I mean, his right leg's in the air, his left leg's on the ground. It does not appear to be touching the bag, and there's certainly no other part of him touching.
And his problem is he slid so late. That is why he wasn't able to keep hold of the bag.
Brian Chiclow, the head athletic trainer, out to see if Frazier's okay after taking that spike in his shin. Play under review brought to you by Land Rover Above and Beyond.
I mean, this could be the replay of April here.
Well, you got a scoreless game in the 6th inning, and that was a gutsy play by Frazier to hang in there. Let's see, and they do overturn the call, and they call him out. That is just enormous. So Lobaton picks up his first caught stealing of the year, a night after Tomas Nido picked up the first 2 for Met catchers. And that erases Inciarte, who otherwise would have been at third base with nobody out in a scoreless game.
Cost Frazier a gouge in his shin.
We'll trade that.
Yeah.
2-0 to Albies with 1 out and nobody on. And he pops one up. Frazier right near the bag. Catches it in foul ground, and that's the 2nd out.
Boy, what a good pitch that was. 2-0. The young Albies must be expecting a fastball for DeGrom, and he gets a changeup.
So 2 out and nobody on for Freeman, who's been up twice and struck out both times, swinging in the first, looking in the fourth. Freddie 0 for 7 over the last 2 nights. Batting with the bases empty. And he takes one on the inside corner. Changeup, 0-1. DeGrom has struck out 7, walked 2. He's given up just 2 singles tonight. And he crowds Freeman again and misses 2-1. .96-mile-an-hour fastball fouled off, but everything inside from DeGrom in this at bat.
Just trying not to let Freeman extend. Likes the ball out over the plate. He can hook a ball on the outside part of the plate over the right field fence.
2 out and nobody on. 2-2 to Freeman. Driven to right field toward the corner, and it's off the wall. Freeman heads to second, and he slides in safely with a 2-out double.
Well, it was supposed to be a curveball on the outside part, and it was a hanging curveball. Lucky that this ball didn't go out of the ballpark. Played nicely by Bruce, but still a double for Freeman.
7th double of the year for Freeman. So that caught stealing looking even more enormous now. Tie-breaking run at second with 2 out for Nick Markakis, who has walked and flied to center 0 for 1. Third hit for the Braves, their first extra base hit. And now DeGrom has to dig in again. Up and into Markakis for ball 1. Markakis fouls one back. Ball and a strike. Jacob DeGrom, his last 9 road starts against the National League East, undefeated. 1 shy of a Mets club record. 10 straight road starts without a loss. Ron Darling. 1987.
Wow.
Bet you didn't even know that.
Did not know that. Good on the road.
1-1. Popped it up. Frazier retreats. Calling all the way. Side retired. Frazier involved in everything in that inning. Most importantly, keeping the tag on Inciarte on the overslide. And that helps DeGrom, keeps the Brave off the board. It's still no score. up in a great pitchers duel back in June of 2016. They each went 8 scoreless innings at Turner Field. Mets would win that game 1-0 in 11 on a Kelly Johnson home run against Dario Alvarez. And here are DeGrom and Tehran again in a scoreless duel as we head to the 7th. Todd Frazier leads off for New York. He's fly down and grounded out 0 for 2. And he takes low and away for ball 1.
I wouldn't say that you look at some starts different than others, but when you're sitting in your hotel room getting ready to get on the bus to come to the game, you anticipate that this could happen against the ace of the Braves. Just like if you, I mean, he's a better pitcher, but if you're facing Scherzer or you're facing Kershaw, you got to anticipate it could be a 0-0 game.
You think they felt that last night when they were facing each other?
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, once Scherzer got the upper hand in the first inning, it was like the game was over. Frazier takes a strike on the outside, and it's 2-1. Gonzalez on deck, then Lobaton for the Mets against Tehran in the 7th. The Mets have 4 hits. The Braves have 3. Each team has left 4 runners on base. Tehran has walked 1 and struck out 6. And that's away to Frazier, and now he's behind 3-1. Todd has 1 home run in his career against Tehran, 3 hits in 16 at bats. "3-1 coming, and he pops it up. Swanson with the angle into foul territory, and it's Camargo who makes the catch. Frazier retired, 1 out in the 7th. Wake up with Betty, Dan, Byron, Marissa, and the rest of the Picks Morning News crew with breaking news, traffic, and sports, plus the latest weather to keep you in the know. Mornings from 4:30 to 9 on the Picks 11 Morning News, New York's very own.
It's pretty good you can get that many folks to wake up that early.
One out. Here's Adrian Gonzalez, who's grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. And he takes a knee-high fastball for a strike.
Both these catchers are doing a fantastic job of framing those pitches that are right around the edge of the plate.
1-1 to Gonzalez with Lobaton on deck. Tehran threw just 96 pitches his last start in 6 innings in Philly. He hasn't gone to 100 pitches yet this year. He's at 96 now. Gonzalez hits one out to left center field. Over in the gap comes Inciarte, and there are 2 out. So 2 up and 2 set aside in the 7th, and the zeros continue. Here's Jose Lobaton, who might have the hardest hit ball against Tehran today, a line drive to center that was caught in the 2nd. Then he walked leading off the 5th, so he's had 2 good at bats against Tehran, a guy against whom he has better numbers than any other pitcher he's faced, including a couple of home runs against Tehran. And he rips that one. Freeman equal to it. Side retired. Lobaton just gets great swings against Tehran for some reason, but retired that time. 7th inning stretch time, still no score.
Well, now the fans think Glavine was throwing at Dale Murphy. That would never happen, folks. You think Tom Glavine's trying to get some response from his Philadelphia team? He's been thrown out. He was. He's been thrown out, and Bobby Cox is gone, too. You got to do it, and I think Tommy Glavine did it the only way he could against a guy, Dale Murphy, that everybody loves, respects, and played with.
I do not remember that. The fact that Tom Glavine would have thrown at the Braves icon, Dale Murphy, then playing for the Phillies.
That was Don Sutton's voice describing that. No, I don't remember that, and that was certainly my time when I was still in uniform.
Now, two guys who have their numbers retired here in Atlanta, Tom Glavine and Dale Murphy.
And I know they're good friends, so I wonder if they ever discuss it.
Nobody doesn't like Dale Murphy.
But, you know, the strange thing about playing this sport, or how it was played those days, is that it didn't really matter. If you're on the other team and it was you who had to be hit, you had to hit him. That's how it worked.
There's Chipper Jones taken in the game tonight.
Hall of Famer.
Known to Met fans far and wide as Larry. Well, Jacob deGrom locked in a great pitcher's duel with Julio Teheran as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Just 80 pitches for Jake through the first 6. Went 7 1/3 his last time out through 103 pitches in that game. Preston Tucker's 0 for 2. He just missed one his last time up. deGrom got away with one of the few poor pitches he's made tonight. And the fly ball sent Bruce back to the edge of the warning track at right. Tucker takes a hack at a fastball and misses, 0-1.
That 49 home runs he hit against the Mets. Chipper Jones.
Willie Stargell hit 60. If Giancarlo Stanton had stayed in the Mets division, he might have challenged that.
Yes, he would have. He would have.
One and 1 to Tucker. And the slider misses. 2 balls and a strike. Dansby Swanson on deck. Then Johan Camargo. Braves have had 3 hits. They've all come in the last 2 innings against deGrom.
Got to be careful with the slider or changeup against Tucker. He's a good breaking ball hitter.
And so he goes back to the fastball and gets him swinging on a high one. 2-2.
Used to be a phrase we used to use of a hitter like Preston Tucker, cut and slasher. He's a guy that goes up there and just is swinging from pitch 1.
He's gotten off to a great start this year. 18 RBIs, tied for 3rd in the National League. 2-2 coming. And he leans him back, full count. First sign of action in either bullpen. Sam Freeman gets up with Teheran due up 5th in the inning. 3-2 coming. And Tucker goes down swinging on the high hard one. 8 strikeouts for deGrom, 1 out in the 7th.
Tucker has shown that he wants to swing the bat, and he goes up out of the strike zone on the 3-2 pitch, leading off an inning in a 0-0 game.
So 1 out. Now Dansby Swanson, who's been up twice and struck out both times. And the curveball drops in for a strike to Swanson. So if Teheran's spot does not come up, do we think he's done?
I think they might push him one more inning, or it's the bottom of the order, right? So you got deGrom and then Reyes, and then maybe Conforto. Freeman will be ready for if he doesn't get through the first 2.
Grounded toward the hole. Gonzalez can't get it. It's into right field. A base hit for Swanson.
So Swanson grounding one the other way and finding a hole for the 4th Atlanta hit of the night.
Ball not hit hard, off the end of the bat. Should be an out, but with the shift of Cabrera up the middle, it's not. And I watched deGrom stand at first base with his hands on his hips like, how could that be a hit? But the shift giveth and it taketh away.
So now the tie-breaking run at first with 1 out. Johan Camargo has walked and struck out tonight, 0 for 1. Swanson has 1 stolen base this year. Inciarte stole second in the 6th inning, tried to steal third, and was thrown out of the overslide upon review. Key play in this game for the Mets and for DeGrom and keeping the Braves off the board. Here's your game summary. The story has been the 2 guys on the lower left, DeGrom, Tehran. Matching zeros into the bottom of the 7th. And Camargo takes up and away, ball 1. How much energy does it take from a pitcher as he gets later into a game like this to control the running game?
It doesn't take a lot, because in a lot of ways, Gary, you use it as a pause, as a reboot, as a refresher from making the pitch.
Nice changeup by DeGrom to get even on Camargo, 1-1.
There'll be some times that I'm just not ready to throw the pitch to the plate, so I throw over to first base just to give me a little bit of time.
But the throws to first don't sap you at all?
Not at all. Not at all. It's just a little snap throw.
Long hold by DeGrom. And finally steps off.
I was also taught by Mr. Seaver and others that sometimes you can freeze the hitter by throwing over, and he's got to get in and out of the box, and he starts to double think and question what he should be looking for.
Lobaton setting up inside. And Camargo fouls it back. 1-2. Maybe it's Lobaton, but I just feel as though DeGrom has really used that inside part of the plate so much more tonight.
That backswing caught Lobaton. That's why the rookie umpire Rehak went out to give him a rest.
So Ricky Bonas answering the phone in the Mets bullpen. We're going to get some action in a moment.
Well, when you think about the Washington Nationals pitching staff, where Lobaton was a part of last couple of years, they pitch inside a lot. So, you know, he brings that with him.
Now DeGrom ahead 1-2. Wastes one away, and it's 2-2. Camargo tonight has walked and struck out in his first start of the season. Batting with Swanson at first and 1 out in the 7th. Carlos Perez, the number 8 hitter, on deck. 2-2. Struck him out. Got him with a changeup. 9 strikeouts for DeGrom, 2 out of the inning.
So as opposed to Tucker, who is a breaking ball hitter he used fastballs against, Camargo is a fastball hitter. So you counter with the soft stuff. Not even close to that pitch.
So 2 away, and now Carlos Perez, who had the first Atlanta hit with 2 out of the 5th, a single to right field. Ryan Flaherty is out on deck to bat for Tehran if Perez keeps the inning going. Swanson back.
You know, we first saw Jacob come up. He did not have a great changeup, and look at the grip. The ball is right on the end of his fingertips. That's why he gets 1, a lot of movement, and 2, he can still throw it 87 or 88 miles an hour.
There goes Swanson. The throw by Lobaton on the money, but a little bit late, and Swanson slides in safely. Swanson with his 2nd stolen base of the year.
That was a good jump by Swanson. I thought DeGrom got rid of the ball pretty quick. Just not a lot on that throw from Lobaton. Almost like he got too spread out and didn't have enough on it to nail Swanson.
So the Braves have their 2nd stolen base of the night.
1, 2, 3, 4, almost 4.5 steps. That's plenty. Anything over 4 to me is a good jump.
1 strike count to Perez. And that was on the inside corner, boxed by Lobaton, but now it's 0-2. Turning back to the young home plate umpire and thanking him. It's not often that you get a call when you don't catch the pitch.
Remember the last time Perez was up, they tried to come in with the fastball and missed. Not this time, so he gets ahead in the count 0-2.
Jerry Blevins up in the bullpen. 0-2 coming, but first time is asked for. A little late. Ryan Flaherty, who's gotten off to such a terrific start, playing almost every day at third base for the Braves, on deck to pinch hit. Oh, 2 to Perez. Got a piece.
To me, when you're facing these kind of players, the backup catcher, a 220 hitter in his career, there's a reason for it. They swing at pitches that aren't on the strike zone. That's where Jacob should attack him, either up and in like he did, or a slider down and away.
0-2, struck him out. 3 strikeouts in the 7th inning for DeGrom. He's got another double-digit strikeout affair. And we go to the 8th inning. Mets and Braves, still no score.
Cause I'm here, there, everywhere live. From the in to outside, I'm everywhere live. Cause I'm here, there, everywhere live. From the in to outside, I'm moving through, making everywhere live. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, everywhere's live. From the in to outside, I'm moving through, making everywhere live.
Tonight when the hitters have hit a whole lot of air. Jacob DeGrom, Julio Teheran combining for 16 strikeouts in a scoreless game as we go to the 8th, and both are done. Teheran done after 7. Sam Freeman on for him.
Sam Freeman's already pitched once in this series. His ERA is minuscule, but we've been talking about this bullpen for Atlanta and their walks.
Wilmer Flores will bat for DeGrom, so he's done after 7 as well. Wilmer started last night, had 2 hits. And the 8th inning begins with Freeman missing low for ball 1. Jose Reyes on deck, then Michael Conforto for the Mets. The Mets have a heavy right-handed bench. I'm a little surprised it's Flores to lead off an inning when you've got guys with speed like Rosario and Lagares sitting there. And now 2-0 to Wilmer. Well, his last 2 starts, he has been in firm command. The 3 runs in the game against Washington, that's a little misleading. 22 strikeouts in his last 2 starts. And now Freeman falls behind Flores 3-0.
Well, I like what Wilmer did here. You could tell from the first pitch he was taking a strike. You should do that against Freeman, who has 7 walks and a little over 9 innings pitched.
And he takes a strike on the corner, 3-1. So Tehran allowed 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 6 through 98 pitches. DeGrom struck out 10, walked 2, allowed 4 hits through 97 pitches. Quite a duel. And there's strike 3 and 2 to Flores.
23rd time for DeGrom that he's struck out in double figures.
Second time this season in back-to-back starts. Three-two coming to Wilmer, and it's outside, ball 4, and the Mets have a leadoff man on. Now do you pinch run for Wilmer?
I mean, that's the only, one of the issues of leading off with Wilmer is that you don't get a lot of speed.
Our next Picks telecast is tomorrow when the Mets and Braves wrap up this series. Coverage begins at 1 with Spectrum Picks pregame right here on Picks 11, New York's very own. Well, you know, we saw Wilmer get hurt in Atlanta, sliding into home plate when he wasn't pinch run for. We saw him get thrown out on the bases twice last night. Reyes drops down a bunt, perfectly placed. Perez, nobody covering at first, and Reyes is safe, and the Mets have first and second and nobody out. A big mistake by the young second baseman Ozzie Albies. He did not cover first, and Reyes with a bunt hit, his 3rd hit of the night.
See Albies, he shaded up the middle, but if you're a young guy, you've got to start moving towards first base, anticipating that the bunt might be put down by Reyes. Just 21-year-old mistake.
And so the Mets have the table set, first and second and nobody out. Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, on his way out to talk to Freeman.
I mean, honestly, I think that is a bench that's asleep at the wheel, Gary. You know, he's 21 years old. Someone's got to, at least before the pitch is thrown, motion to him to move over, anticipate that bunt.
Well, now it's Conforto, who had a chance to get the Mets on the board back in the 5th. First and second, 1 out, a 3-1 count.
And just get that ball off the end of the bat. Nice play by the good athlete Tehran to turn it, and that got him out of his stickiest situation.
So now Conforto with another chance. First and second, nobody out. Now facing the lefty, Sam Freeman. Conforto had a base hit against Tehran back in the 3rd, rolling one through the shift. Flores at second, carrying the go-ahead run. Reyes at first with nobody out. Third baseman Camargo playing in on the grass, but my friends, Conforto is not bunting. And he takes a slider for a strike, 0-1. This happened last night with Flores at the plate, where they played the corners in like he was going to be bunting.
Yeah, they should be backed up, and Camargo should be more in that hole between short and 3rd.
I mean, they've got Freeman in too. Very odd. Conforto grounds one foul, and quickly it's 0-2.
Now Freeman will back up and Camargo will back up, but boy, they could have been burned in those first couple of pitches.
They got the right-hander Shane Carl up in the bullpen behind Freeman, with the right-hand hitter Cespedes on deck.
Cespedes should be ready to go. He struck out 3 times in this game. He's ready to go.
And last night it took till after 4 strikeouts. Such an odd start to the season for Cespedes. Strikeouts piling up, but so are the big hits. 0-2 to Conforto, and he lays off. 1-2. It's been a rough series for Conforto, just 1 hit in 10 at bats, but a chance to undo all of that right now. And still no pinch runner for Flores. And you hope that doesn't come back to burn the Mets. 1-2 coming. Grounded to the left side. Camargo's got it. Goes to second for one. Drop by Albies. They call him out. The ball's rolling free, but Flores holds at 3rd. Boy, I don't know about that. They called that on the transfer, and Mickey Callaway is putting a hold on here, and he wants to challenge the call and say that Albies never had possession of it, in which case the Mets would have the bases loaded.
Well, first, nice play by Camargo. Caught that ball behind him. The good throw to second, and Albies in his haste. To me, he never secured the ball.
Let's see here. I think
he's gonna give it to him.
I think this will be upheld.
You know why? Because it hit him in the glove. Right. If it hits him in the leather, they usually give it to him.
Well, if it stands, then It's first and third and 1 out.
This is what the umpire sees now.
I don't see that getting overturned.
No, I don't either.
But Mickey Callaway won his first challenge on the play at third base on NCarte, and so he still had one in his pocket. Play under review brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond.
You know, you and I have been watching each and every day here for the first 3 days. Ron Washington, the infield coach, worked with Albies, so he's still a work in progress defensively. Obviously, at 21 years old, his offense is right on time.
Ron Washington, one of the best infield coaches around. Here's that play again. Is it on the transfer? It may not have been, but I don't think you have enough evidence to overturn that. Of course, the Mets would be thrilled if it was. Albies late getting to first base on Reyes's bunt, which put 2 men on, and now unable to turn the double play, which he might have had a shot at with Conforto going to first.
The only time they sometimes go against you on that one is you catch it one-handed and then go for the transfer. He had both hands in the vicinity and it hit leather. That's why I think it'll be upheld.
Well, they're taking a long time to look at it. Fielded Colbreth and Sam Holbrook have their crews in the replay center in Chelsea. And they say he's safe.
Whoa.
So the call is overturned and the Mets win their second challenge of the night. Wow. So that'll be an error on Albies that loads up the bases. Wow.
Wow, an error of commission and omission by Mr. Albies.
Well, the Mets have the bases loaded, nobody out. Cespedes coming up. And they'll bring in the right-hander to face him. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. We'll be right back.
Ball game did Carl. Fastball with some sinking life, a breaking ball and a changeup.
Struck out Cespedes in the game last night. He'll face Cespedes here after the error by Albies loads up the bases. So a walk to Flores, a bunt hit by Reyes with nobody covering first, and then the drop by Albies give an assist to the third baseman and an error to the second baseman, loading him up with nobody out for Cespedes.
Assist to Chelsea.
I'm still surprised they overturned that call.
But good for the Mets.
Cespedes up 3 times tonight, struck out all 3. And he hits one in the air to right field. Flores not fast at third. Markakis comes in to get it, and Flores will not gamble on this. And that's the first out. And again, not pinch running for Flores. I don't know if, you know, Rosario tries to score on that with nobody out.
He wouldn't, but what that would tell me if I'm managing is that I can't take a chance. Because with no outs, you probably don't want that anyway. But with 1 out, you might take a chance if you have someone with speed.
This is the problem.
I would replace him now.
This is the problem with having catchers that you have to bat for.
Yeah,
you have to save position players that you might not otherwise have to save.
You're right.
In any event, now it's up to Cabrera to try and get their run in with the bases loaded and 1 out. Cabrera had a bunt single in the first. He's 1 for 3 on the night. Flores at third, Reyes at second, Conforto at first. And Cabrera lays off, and it's out of the strike zone, ball 1.
Mets wouldn't want any other hitter in their lineup up right now other than Cabrera.
Shane Carl working out of the bullpen, but he is a 4-pitch pitcher. Pitched some for the Rockies last year, now in his 10th appearance with the Braves. Gave up a double to Cabrera last night. And it's hooked into right field, a base hit, and the Mets take the lead. Flores is in, Reyes right behind him as Drupal Cabrera breaks the ice with a 2-run base hit in the 8th. And the Mets have a 2-0 lead. As Drupal Cabrera rejuvenated in 2018, he continues to hit and hit and hit some more.
I mean, you're looking at this team that is 14-5 with Conforto not hitting, with Cespedes not hitting, and one of the reasons is because Cabrera is on top of his game.
So he had a double against Carl last night. He has a 2-run single against him tonight. Now Jay Bruce tries to keep it going. First and second and 1 out. Jay's 0 for 3 tonight, and he whacks one foul, 0-1. First run of the game brought to you by the New York Lottery. Win anywhere, win anytime. First 2 runs.
First 2.
It's a bonus.
Oh, Reyes right in the middle of everything today.
Reyes 3 for 3. His first 3 hits of the season, making up for lost time. And that's lofted into center field. That's a base hit. Conforto around third. He's being waved home. It's bobbled by Inciarte. Conforto scores. Cabrera to third. Sliding in safely at second is Bruce. The Mets have a 3-0 lead.
Now Jay Bruce with a double in yesterday's game. Kind of lucky this is not. Dumps it in front of Inciarte, and for the second consecutive night, Inciarte has made an error in center field. Not a great read by Conforto. He stops, but then he proceeds to score the 3rd run. Nice job by Cabrera going first to third. Once he sees the bobble, and Jay Bruce took advantage also, getting to second base.
Here's Todd Frazier, goes after a first pitch slider, 0-1. So it's an RBI single for Bruce.
Watch Jay Bruce, figures he's just going to have a single, and as soon as he sees Inciarte drop it, hustles into second base.
Unbelievable that Inciarte, 2-time Gold Glove winner, has made errors on back-to-back nights. Last night on a throw, this time on a bobble. Now Frazier fouls one off. Todd with a chance to blow the doors off this game now with the infield in. Second and third and 1 out. 3 runs home in this 8th inning. The 8th inning runs are piling up for this team.
Yes, they are.
Carl came in with the bases loaded, nobody out. 2 of the 3, or all 3 now, have come around to score. And Frazier strikes out of the slider for the 2nd out. So Carl now with a chance to limit further damage. Adrian Gonzalez has been walked intentionally now. He'll go to first, and Jose Lobaton will bat. Mets have plenty of bench left if they wanted to bat for Lobaton. You got Nimmo sitting there. Rosario, Lagares, Nido as well. But Lobaton has had a couple of good at-bats tonight, and he's going to be left in to bat for himself. A.J. Ramos getting ready to pitch the bottom of the 8th. These runs all belong to Jacob deGrom, who left for a pinch hitter in this inning. So now Lobaton, who's 0 for 2 and a walk, with the bases loaded and 2 out. He's the 9th man up in the inning. And he takes a strike, 0-1.
Well, considering deGrom was betrayed by his team the last start he had, he was deserving of these runs.
Well, it's the 2nd time this inning that I'm a little surprised Mickey Callaway has not gone to his bench. He has shown that he's not afraid to bat for his catcher even earlier than this.
Is he rewarding Lobaton for 3 fine at-bats in this game?
I think you're probably right, but as we mentioned earlier, he has a knack against Tehran. Does he have the same against Shane Carl? Flores, who led off the inning, is now on deck. And Lobaton lofts one out to left. Over comes Tucker. He loses it in the lights, but somehow he makes the catch. Tucker lost it, found it, and grabs it to end the inning. But the Mets score 3 big hits from Cabrera and Bruce. Tucker saves the Braves from further disaster. Honda dealer. Just 4 hits scattered by Jacob deGrom tonight over his 7 innings of work. He's now pitcher of record on the long side of a 3-0 score. And A.J. Ramos will pick up for him in the 8th inning.
Got to update that box score. You got to scratch Flaherty's name off of it.
Was that a Met fan mocking the chop?
I think it was, yeah, a mock.
I like the chop mock.
Ramos last night was the best he's been all season long. Let's see if he can double up back-to-back games.
Retired the side in order with 2 strikeouts. Ryan Flaherty, the pinch hitter for the Braves, leading off in the home 8th, and takes Lone away for ball 1. Flaherty, who's been starting every day at third base, had 2 hits last night. He's hitting .362 for the year. Quite a start for a guy who in 6 years in Baltimore was a lifetime .215 hitter. And Ramos gets the off-speed pitch in for a strike, 1-1. deGrom, 97 pitches in 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Trying to go to 3-0 on the year and hoping the bullpen saves him in a way they didn't the last time out. And it's taken low, 2 balls and a strike to Flaherty. Last time deGrom left with a 6-1 lead, and what ensued was quite ugly.
Yeah, it got ugly fast, didn't it?
Really the one bad night that the Mets bullpen has had this season. Last night they were brilliant. 6 scoreless innings, only 1 hit for the combination of Lugo, Ramos, Gazelman, and Familia. Now Ramos behind his first hitter, 3-1. Ender Inciarte on deck, and then Ozzie Albies, if anybody gets on, Freddie Freeman in the 8th, and Jerry Blevins getting ready for him.
Got a 3-0 lead. You have to challenge the hitter here. They can put it in play.
And he did, and Flaherty fouled it back, 3-2.
Now you can watch the Pix games on the go. Just log on to pix11.com or download the Pix11 app for mobile devices. It's good to know. Three and two to Flaherty, leading off the bottom of the 8th. Whack down the left field line, slicing away from Cespedes, and foul.
Cespedes gets that big body rolling. The deceleration part is a little bit of a problem. Big part of the game, trying to catch anything, right?
He's played a wonderful left field so far this year, up to the Gold Glove caliber of a couple of years ago. Again, the 3-2, and that's outside, ball 4, and Flaherty draws a leadoff walk. So this inning does not start as impeccably as Ramos's did last night. And now we'll face Ender Inciarte with a man on. Inciarte had an infield hit, stole second, and then was caught trying to steal third in the 6th inning, a turning point in this game.
Well, this is how the 8th inning started for the Mets. Freeman walked. Wilmer Flores who led off.
Ramos does a lot of working around the strike zone. And he misses low and in. 2-0.
Here comes Dave Island. Can't take it anymore. You know, in this day and age, you know, at this point in the game, you want the guy who can get away with throwing the ball over the heart of the plate and still get swing and misses. Ramos, at this point, is not that kind of pitcher. He likes to use all 4 of his pitches, and sometimes, if he doesn't have impeccable control, he gets in trouble.
When he first came up with the Marlins, he was a guy who would throw 93, 94 miles an hour. That's not really there for him anymore. So he's incorporated a cutter, which he uses a lot. But again, he's not a guy who's challenging people.
Well, last night he was throwing 92. That's the hardest I've seen him throw. But again, I asked, can he do it back to back?
Now behind on Inciarte, 2-0 with Ozzie Albies on deck. And he pours in a fastball for a strike.
Rookie umpire Jeremy Rehak has done a nice job behind the plate this evening. Helps when he got really good pitchers going.
And that's in at the knees to Inciarte, who did not like the call. 2-2.
He didn't like the pitch before. He thought it was high. He thought that ball was low. Frustration from Inciarte. Well, there's our box. Does it hit it? Right on the bottom.
Right on. So after Island's visit, 2 straight fastball strikes from Ramos. Now 2-2 to Inciarte. And it's fouled away. Cutter from Ramos.
It's almost like Island went out there and said, son, the score is 3-0. Let's challenge somebody.
Jerry's Familia, who got the save last night, is up in the 8th inning tonight. Lobaton sets up inside. And Inciarte takes strike 3 call. Ramos nails the inside corner for the first out of the inning.
It's almost where Inciarte's frustration bled into his at-bat.
Well, Dave Island's visit certainly seemed to send a message for A.J. Ramos. He is a no-nonsense character, man. Yeah. He certainly was that in his comments today about Matt Harvey, and he has been right from the start of this season. Ozzie Albies takes curveball low and in for ball one. I mean, there have been times with the quality of pitchers that the Mets have had as they've nurtured them along over the last half dozen years where there's been a lot of coddling going on. The coddling days appear to be over. Albies is 0 for 3 tonight. Also made the error that opened the door for a big inning. Well, not just the error, but also the failure to cover first on Reyes' bunt. Trying to make up for it at the plate, with Freddie Freeman standing on deck and Jerry Blevins ready for him. 1 out and 1 on. 2-0 to Albies. And he sails that one up and away, and now Ramos behind 3-0. The last thing in the world you want is Freddie Freeman coming up as the tying run, but that might happen in a moment. And much as you love Blevins facing lefties, Freeman's a guy who has had Jerry's number. Albies has to take a pitch here, and it's outside, ball 4. Second walk of the inning for Ramos. That's going to be the end of his tenure. So this one didn't go nearly as well as last night for AJ. And now Freeman coming up as the tying run. Blevins coming in to face him. Called to the bullpen, brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. We'll be right back.
Where Jerry was just trying to get some work, and we thought about and talked about that he would pitch him different in a bat where they had a 6-1 game. He threw him all fastballs, 4 of them, with the last one being hit on the ground through the shift for a base hit. You would assume in a game that's tight like this, where Freddie's the tying run, that you'll feature more curveballs.
Freeman 9 for 18 against Blevins. He had a double his last time up against DeGrom. He bats here with first and second and 1 out in the 8th in a 3-0 game. And a first pitch fastball, and Freeman hits it out in the gap in left center. Cespedes chasing back. He won't get there. It hops against the wall. Flaherty is in. Albies right behind him. Freeman with a 2-run double to cut the Met lead to 3-2. Well, maybe in instance of double think there. Maybe Blevins thinking that Freeman was looking for the curve, threw him a fastball, and Freeman tattooed it to the opposite field.
Well, he's now 10 for 19 because he doesn't assume what he's going to get, just reacts. And Freeman is a great down hitter. If you're going to pitch him fastballs, it's got to be up in the strike zone. And this one, pure Freeman.
So those 2 runs charged to Ramos. Now the tying run at second with 1 out, and Markakis coming up. And Markakis, like Freeman, had a base hit against Blevins on Thursday night. Markakis just 3 for 21 against Blevins. 0 for 2 tonight. So a scoreless game for the starters. DeGrom and Tehran has turned into a very different game in this 8th inning. Starts off Markakis with a fastball as well.
Well, Albie's had a tough inning defensively, but a great read on the ball by Freeman. He knew it was a hit all the way, and the speed scores easily the second run for the Braves.
One out to Markakis. First to look back at Freeman.
So you can see that Albies' offensive instincts are quite good. It's his defensive instincts that have to improve.
And of course, remember, he played shortstop predominantly coming up and is adjusting to playing second base, and that's another piece of it. So Blevins thrown 2 pitches, 2 fastballs, 1 to Freeman, 1 to Markakis. And another fastball. This one's popped up. Frazier in foul ground near the railing, reaching, and I don't think he caught it.
No, he did not catch it.
He did not. He went lunging in amongst the spectators and came up a little short.
Got a little padding there, and that helps, but he couldn't get all the way to the third row.
And the Notre Dame sweatshirt really wanted that ball. The young lady's right arm took the brunt of Todd Frazier reaching in there, but she's okay. 1-1 to Markakis. So Jerry's been sticking with his fastball so far. Preston Tucker on deck, and that fastball fouled away, and now it's 1-2. Well, he certainly has him set up for the curve now.
Well, I was thinking Freeman was ready for that fastball, but Markakis seems like he was sitting on the breaking ball and has been late on 2 fastballs.
Another left-hand hitter, Preston Tucker, to follow. Tying run at second with 1 out. Fastball inside, 2-2.
Someone's ERA is going up.
Houston wins every day. Won 10-0 yesterday. They're up 10-1 tonight. 2-2 coming. Curveball, and he struck him out on the pitch in the dirt. Freeman, though, goes to third. The throw to first in time. They get the second out on Markakis as Blevins throws his first curveball, and it fooled Markakis. And Lobaton throws him out at first as Freeman goes to third on the wild pitch.
Well, it's a nice job by Lobaton to keep it in front of him. This ball bounces right in front of him. He smothers it, and then the throw on the run. Gonzalez ready to make a throw, and the pitcher Blevins covers home as Freddie advances to third base on the ball in the dirt.
Well, you got the tying run at third with 2 out. You got another left-hand hitter coming up in Tucker, but Mickey Callaway is going to take Blevins out of the game. It looks like he'll go to Familia to try and get a 4-out save. Interesting move here by Callaway. Call to the bullpen, brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Mets trying to hang on the 8th. We'll be right back. like it. Shouldn't be. Double switch for the Mets. Tomas Nido comes in to catch. Go back to the pitcher's spot, and Jerry's Familia, for the 4th time this year, is brought in the 8th inning.
Well, he's coming in the ball game, and you're saying to yourself, why don't you leave Blevins in against Tucker? Lefty-lefty matchup. We talked earlier in the game about DeGrom. Velocity is not a friend to Tucker. You needed a little more velocity. You get it with Familia.
Remember that Mickey Callaway declined to bat for Lobaton with the bases loaded and 2 out in the top of the inning. Now he's taken Lobaton out of the game in the double switch. So he goes to Familia. Last time he brought him in the 8th inning was Monday against Washington, and that was the tail end of that bullpen implosion in that game. Jerry's got the save in the 12th inning last night. Tying run at third, 2 out, and Tucker takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. Tucker's gone 0 for 3 tonight, popped up, flied out, and struck out. So Blevins faced 2 batters, gave up the 2-run double to Freeman, the strikeout of Markakis with the pitch in the dirt, allowing Freeman to go to third. And Tucker yanks one foul on a slider from Familia, and it's 0-2. Dansby Swanson would be next. Scoreless game until this 8th inning. Mets played at 3 in the top of the inning. Had a chance for more, but Frazier struck out, and then Lobaton flied out with the bases loaded. Arodys Vizcaíno up in the Atlanta bullpen. Braves have responded after a couple of A.J. Ramos walks. Freeman drove them both home with a double. Now Familia up in the count 0-2. And Tucker gets a piece of the fastball. Familia has 2 saves of more than 1 inning this year. A 5-out save and a 4-out save. Paul Sewald is up in the bullpen. Could it be that Familia will be asked to get this out in the 8th and then somebody else pitches the 9th? We haven't seen that yet.
We've seen a lot of unconventional moves, though, right?
0-2. Slider got him looking. Side retired. Familia freezes Tucker, and he gets one king-sized out in the bottom of the 8th. We head to the 9th, 3-2 New York. Cabrera with the 2-run single to put the Mets in front of the 8th. Jay Bruce added an RBI hit. Jose Reyes with his first 3 hits of the season.
Jesse Biddle is in the game, drafted by the Phillies in the 1st round from nearby Germantown Friends School in Philadelphia. arm problems, Tommy John surgery. This is his first major league appearance.
Which is pretty amazing. First round draft pick back in 2010 coming out of high school in the Philadelphia area. There's the line score brought to you by Volkswagen. All the scoring coming in the 8th inning against the bullpens after DeGrom and Tehran each matched 0s for 7. Tomas Nido came in the double switch with Familia in the last half inning. He'll bat for the first time. And grounds one weakly to shortstop. Swanson throws him out. 1 pitch and 1 out for Jesse Biddle, who now has a big league ERA.
That's right. I find it interesting that Familia came in to face the left-hander and Jerry was taken out. That's something you would have never seen happen here in quite some time.
Well, as you said, unconventional is something that we have to get used to.
Well, the analytics and the numbers have to tell you that, you know, Tucker is better on the soft stuff.
And yet he saw 2 sliders during that at bat, including the pitch that struck him out.
92 though. He's got the Karate Kid motion here with the hanging of the leg.
Reyes grounds one to Swanson. He hurries in to get it. And Biddle, on just 3 pitches, has the first 2 outs of his big league career.
Watch how he just hangs his foot, hovers it in the air, and then proceeds to the plate. All arm, really no push off by Biddle.
It's a guy who had problems with whooping cough when he was in the minors. He got hit in the head in a hailstorm and suffered a concussion. He had Tommy John surgery.
Ooh.
And finally, 8 years after he was drafted, he makes his big league debut. Jesse Biddle. Germantown Friends High School in Philadelphia. Michael Conforto 1 for 4 tonight. Michael hit the ground ball to third base in the 8th inning that resulted in the Albies error on the drop at second. It allowed the Mets to load the bases in the 8th and set the stage for their 3 runs. And Biddle throws a fastball by him at 95, and it's 1-2.
Boy, good stuff.
Well, Familia's got 1 out. Looks like he'll be asked to get 3 more against the bottom part of the order. 1-2 to Conforto, and the breaking ball almost whacked him. 2-2. All 3 runs in that 8th inning were charged to Sam Freeman. 2 of them earned. Shane Carl allowed all 3 inherited runners to score. Biddle's 2-2, and Conforto fouls it away. In the bottom of the 9th, the Braves will have Swanson, Camargo, and Perez due up. They have an all right-handed bench remaining, with Charlie Culberson the most formidable. Well, Kurt Suzuki's on the bench too. He is formidable. 2-2, just inside. Full count to Conforto with Cespedes on deck. Three-2 coming, and it's hit down the left field side, foul. And Conforto starting to get his timing against Biddle. Jesse Biddle joined the Braves organization last year. 4 games in AAA this year. And the breaking ball outside, ball 4, and Conforto's on with a 2-out walk. So the Mets have a base runner in the 9th. Coming up next here on Pix 11, it's the Pix 11 News. Coming up on SNY, it's WB Mason post-game live. Well, here is Cespedes, who's gone 0 for 4 tonight. 3 strikeouts and a fly ball. 1 for 12 in this series, including 8 strikeouts. Conforto at first and 2 out. He's running. The throw to second by Perez goes into center field, and Conforto is up and running to third. And the Mets have an insurance run at third with 2 out. First stolen base of the year for Michael Conforto.
Well, Mets don't steal a lot, but they've been picking their spots, haven't they? Goes on first movement from Biddle. Tough pitch for the catcher to throw on Perez, and he dumps it into right field and center field.
Only the Mets' 7th stolen base of the season. They had one last night from Frazier, and now they have the first from Conforto. So he's at third with 2 out. 1-0 to Cespedes.
And he rockets one deep to left field. Down the line, headed toward the pole. Home run! Cespedes kept it fair. A 2-run homer, and the Mets lead it 5-2.
They're going to review that. It's foul, I think.
Well, the third base umpire, Dan Iasonia, called it a fair ball. And the second base umpire, Pat Holberg, is coming over to him.
The problem is the foul poles aren't as high as some in some ballparks, and it almost went over it. But I mean, from my angle, I thought it was foul. We'll see.
Well, Cespedes has run the bases. The umpires are huddling. They're asking each other what they saw. They're asking the rookie home plate umpire, who might have had a better angle, Jeremy Rehak, whether he thought it was fair or foul. And certainly from the replay that we're showing here, it appears the ball was foul, without question. And so they will go to review, and this will be overturned. I think Cespedes knew it was foul. I think that's why it took him a minute and a half to run around the bases just now.
I mean, he just stalled there near home plate because he knew it was foul. And once they called it fair, he's like, well, all right, okay, I'll take it. Good job of the umpire. He's not going to even review it. Just called it foul after they met.
So clearly, Dan Iasonia did not make the proper call. Cespedes will come back to the plate with a 1-1 count.
But they got it right. Good job.
By the way, he hit the tar out of that ball.
Oh.
Conforto at third and 2 out, and Cespedes takes it wide, 2-1. See, replay is good for that, right? That was the original
outstanding
replay rule. Judge on boundary calls, home run, not home run. Grounded into the shift. Swanson charging, throws out Cespedes, side retired. So Biddle throws a scoreless inning in his big league debut. Mets try to hang on to a 1-run lead in the 9th.
But you had the right guy up at the right time. The hottest Mets hitter since the beginning of the season has been Asdrubal Cabrera. Big single to score Flores and Reyes and Salt and Pepper.
Jerry's Familia got the final out in the 8th, trying to finish it off in the 9th. Dansby Swanson leads off for Atlanta, 1 for 3 tonight. And the first pitch sinker misses for ball 1. Swanson, Camargo, and Perez due up. Swanson flied out against Familia last night. That's 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. The Braves 2 runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors. All the scoring in this game came in the 8th inning.
Now the biggest error probably for the Braves, though, was Inciarte's slide, where he lost control of the bag, and Frazier, despite getting spiked, kept the tag on. Replay went the Mets' way.
Billy behind 2-0. And Swanson takes inside 3-0. Well, Ramos walked the leadoff batter in the 8th inning, and it cost the Mets. Familia trying to avoid the same fate here in the 9th. Swanson with a 3-0 count. And he takes ball 4. And the tying run is on with nobody out. So the Mets bullpen for the 2nd straight inning walking the leadoff hitter.
Walk. Swanson's got some speed. Nito might have to come up with some more magic.
Johan Camargo, the batter. We'll see how Brian Snitker chooses to play this. Camargo in his first start of the year has walked and struck out twice. Mets are going to be looking for the bunt here. Problem is for Atlanta, you've got the light hitting catcher Perez on deck. They do have available pinch hitters, but for the moment Perez is on deck. And then you got the pitcher spot behind that. Frazier set to charge. Camargo set to swing, and he takes outside, ball 1.
I think this is a good play. Let him swing, and if I were Snitker, I would make sure that Camargo took a strike. I mean, Familia hasn't thrown a strike yet.
He went right after Preston Tucker when he came in the last inning. Struck him out on an 0-2 slider. Now he's throwing 5 in a row out of the strike zone to start the 9th. I always worry about closers who come in with all that adrenaline and then sit and then have to go back out there.
I agree.
Also pitching for the 2nd straight day, as did Ramos, who looked great last night and not so much tonight. We'll see if Familia can get it together in the 9th inning tonight. 1-0 to Camargo. Familia does not love throwing to first base. Swanson already has a stolen base in this game. That came in the 7th inning. Frazier is backed up to the edge of the grass at 3rd, no longer expecting the bunt. And that's in at the knees for a strike, 1-1.
Lots of signs being given by Ron Washington, the 3rd base coach. Swanson's got to go. He was too.
Swanson's stolen base in the 7th inning was his 2nd of the year.
Good work by the Mets and Familia. Got to keep him close. Give Nito a shot if he takes off.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Familia throw to first base this many times in a sequence.
All of these Mets players being asked to do a little different things for Callaway.
One.
Boy, he almost balked.
Yeah, he barely stopped if he did.
Surprised the Braves aren't on the umpires for that.
I mean, quickening up like that helps freeze the runner, but it can get you in trouble too. Now it's 2-1 to Camargo. And he hits a double play ball, but it goes by Cabrera and into right center. Swanson will go all the way to 3rd. The ball rolls to the wall, and Swanson will score. Camargo
Camargo goes to third. The Braves have tied the game, and they've got the winning run at third with nobody out. Off the bat, it looked like the Mets might have a chance to turn two. Instead, it turns into a triple that ties up the game.
I have not seen a hit like that, a triple like that, since I used to play on AstroTurf. That ball was a ground ball that Cabrera almost got to, and it rolled all the way to the wall. So it tells you how hard that ball is hit on the nose. Splits the outfielders, and by the time Conforto gets to it, the run is in to tie, and Camargo's on third base with one out.
Well, let's see how the Mets are going to choose to play this, as Kurt Suzuki is announced as a pinch hitter.
Sorry, no outs.
I mean, that ball was scorched, but still, it's amazing that it went all the way to the wall.
I've never seen that since AstroTurf days.
All right, so Suzuki the pinch hitter, and then Culberson on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher. So do you walk one? Do you walk two? Do you go straight after Suzuki in this spot?
Boy, no outs.
Well, you got to move the outfield more shallow. You certainly have to do that.
Shallow.
They're too deep. Now they're coming in.
We're going to go
Fly ball over
Suzuki.
your head. The game's over.
Yep.
The infield is in. The outfield has moved in. 3-3, bottom of the ninth. Suzuki caught the first two games of this series at a home run on Thursday night. Sac fly last night.
And he drills one off the glove of Frazier. He's got a chance, but he does not make a throw. Suzuki's safe at first. Well, it almost got down the line for a game-winning hit. Frazier got leather on it, but couldn't hold it. They'll give Suzuki credit for an infield hit as Camargo holds at third.
I mean, this ball smoked and behind Frazier. Just able to get enough leather on it to get to it.
When he picked the ball up, he had a play on Suzuki, who was not running hard to first base. I don't think he realized it, though.
You know what happens with a hitter when you hit a line drive like that and it hits the glove of the fielder? You think sometimes that it's caught, and you stop, and then you have to re-go. And then, of course, Suzuki does not run well, and Frazier did not know that.
Sounds kind of like they walked Suzuki.
Yeah.
Now Culberson will be the pinch hitter. With first and third and nobody out.
See, my feeling, Gary, is that you can't walk the bases loaded because Familia, with his lack of control, gives him no out.
So the infield will stay in. Nito flashing signs to the infield. Obviously, if Suzuki runs, you're not going to throw the ball to second base. The outfield stays in. Culberson appeared as a pinch hitter last night and grounded out. Winning run at third and nobody out. And it's in the dirt. Scooped out by Nito, ball one.
And the 20th time since 2014 that Jacob DeGrom does not get a win. Bullpen does not hold for him.
7 scoreless innings for DeGrom. Mets got him a 3-0 lead. Had a chance for more in that 8th inning, and I think you have to go back to that. Yeah. Frazier struck out. They didn't bat for Lobaton with the bases loaded, and put up a 3 spot instead of more. And the Braves have responded. 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. Now a chance to win it. And Culberson takes a strike. 1-1.
Well, Gary, it's the walks in the 8th by Ramos, the leadoff walk in the 9th here by Familia. Walks by the bullpen have been the issue.
Well, you've got 2 pitchers pitching back-to-back days after they both pitched great last night. 1-1 to Culberson. Inciarte on deck. And the slider off the plate, 2-1. Familia can pitch as carefully as he needs to. He's got a base open.
So you probably see another 2-1 slider here.
Infield in, outfield in. 2-1. And Culberson with a half swing. He went around 2-2. Well, Familia badly in need of a strikeout.
Boy, he went with that fastball, I believe, at 95 miles an hour. Just great sinking action.
Camargo in his first start of the year with the RBI triple to tie the game. And trying to find his way home with a winning run. Two-two to Culberson. Struck him out. So Familia gets the first out of the inning. Now Inciarte comes up.
I mean, the bottom just drops out of this pitch. No chance for Culberson.
So first and third and one away. You really can't afford to move your middle infielders back very far with Inciarte's speed. But it looks like they'll play a step or two back from where they were before.
What you have to know is that if the ball's not hit sharply, you're coming in, your play is going to be at the plate. Camargo should be going on contact.
And remember, Inciarte can bunt. That's always a threat here, the drag bunt for the win. And he does bunt it, gets it down. Gonzalez coming to the plate, safe, and the Braves win it. Ender Inciarte with the bunt hit to win the game for the Braves as they come from behind with 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th to beat the Mets 4-3.
Well, just wasted a great effort by DeGrom. 7 shutout innings. The bullpen's inability to throw strikes cost the Mets some runs, and a great job by Inciarte to end the game.
Johan Camargo in his first start of the year gets the big hit in the 9th to tie the game, and then Inciarte sends everybody home.
Well, disguised this bunt so well. Bunted hard towards first base, but Gonzalez really has no chance. Camargo's a fast runner, and he beats the throw to the plate.
Gonzalez handled that perfectly, but Camargo was already across the plate before Nito received the ball, didn't hold it anyway. And this is a frustrating loss for the Mets. Got great pitching from DeGrom and a pitcher's duel against Tehran. Took the lead with 3 in the 8th, had a chance for far more, did not cash in. And then both Ramos and Familia walking leadoff hitters, and the Braves able to rally for 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th. And they've taken 2 of the first 3 from the Mets in this series. So DeGrom was great, but the bullpen tonight was not. And the Braves defeat the Mets tonight 4-3. Game summary brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Freddie Freeman a 2-run double in the 8th. Camargo the RBI triple, and Inciarte the bunt single to win it for Atlanta. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your Tri-State Audi dealers. Get behind the wheel of the Audi model you've always wanted. By Raymore and Flanagan Furniture, furnishing your style. By NYU Lango and Hart. By your local Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyOffers.com. And by the new Dunkin' Go-Tos, double deals made for go-getters. And by Altice One from Optimum. Final score tonight, the Braves 4 and the Mets 3. We're back with you tomorrow afternoon on Picks for the final game of this series with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mike Foltynewicz. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock tomorrow right here on Picks 11.